Hello. And we are live. Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. Praise be.
Praise be to He.
Praise be to she.
Praise be to they. Praise be to baby Jesus, who's my favorite version of Jesus.
Talladega Nights.
Yes.
I like to imagine Jesus with a tuxedo t-shirt because it says, I want to be formal, but I'm also here to party.
Exactly.
I like Jesus in a romper, personally. With a cummerbund.
I like Jesus in a cummerbund romper as well, because those are the best types of rompers.
Purple, velvety.
Yes, breaking all the stereotypes and all the limitations to men's fashions.
I like to imagine my Jesus as an actual person of color. I know I'm in the minority, but
Jesus was black. Ronald Reagan was the devil. And I forgot. I'm sorry. I forgot the last
Boondocks.
Yes.
The first scene.
Love.
Yeah, I'm glad we're all here. We haven't.
Happy Sunday.
Gosh.
Happy Sunday. Sassy on
I
Sunday,
know y'all have
ladies.
been streaming for Euphoria, but I don't think Mandy and I have really streamed with any of you since 2021.
Oh, it has been a while. Yeah, Ara and I have a really intimate relationship, and it's weird that I'm here with all of you right now. I'm like, Ara, baby, this isn't what we... Who are they? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I am excited to be back, though. Actually, my husband said today, he's like, did you miss Ara? I was like, yeah, I missed Ara. Shut up. Like, leave me alone, man. I love coming to Ara's house on Sundays after church. Amen. Praise be.
Yeah, we went from, talking about kids on drugs to... Jesus-ish.
On drugs.
People are doing drugs.
And ninja assassins and all sorts of
ninja biker gang.
Ain't nothing ninja about him. Why you calling him that?
That's what I call him. Shut up.
God, season 2 was so much fun. Season 2 was season 1 was wild, and season 2, Danny McBride was like, what if I just did because I can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did it, and he could, because we're all here. We're here for
I
it.
had wondered going into, just this really quick thought I had in those first 5 seconds of the first season, because last season was such a fun ride. I was like, I don't know how they're going to top that. And then within the first episode, I'm like, yes, that's how they're going to top it. The moment that Judy, Jesse, and Kelvin started slipping on that reporter's blood, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a fantastic season.
I just love the Gemstone siblings. They're a riot. They're just
they
funny.
Really, God, one thing I love is they really came together this season. They really, because I mean, the Gemstones are a very corrupt family, but this season they really showed they are about their family. At the very least, they love their siblings, they love their daddy. Even BJ became a part of the family this season.
Yeah,
and
he is a gemstone.
He had to take a bullet for it, but yeah, he did.
He shook Eli's hand.
Yeah, that was big. That was a big look. I mean, we had some big moves this year. Not only did Tom get his bag in succession, but now cousin TJ gets his bag. Nephew TJ. I mean, BJ. I mean, good for him. Got his baptism, got his handshake. I'm so proud of him. And you know what? Girls like scars. Judy's going to love that scar. In fact, she's going to be like, I kind of wish it was still a wound. And he's going to be like,
Sounds like a very Judy thing to do. Let me say, I see we got some people here in the chat. I just want to say a quick hello. I see we got Maddie Winters. Praise be to sheep. Praise be. Praise be.
Hey, Maddie.
We got Reginald Taylor, present and accounted for, and you're here for a good Sunday service. That's what we're here.
Is the baby watching too?
I hope so.
I need to know.
He's the most precious.
Baby Billy.
Baby Lionel. Baby Billy's a grown man.
Yeah, baby Lionel.
Hi, Cool Gamer. Hi, Kiri.
Hey, Kiri.
Hey, Kiri. We missed you guys as well. Hi, Josh. OG, triple OG Josh in the building as well. And I guess we should introduce ourselves formally. Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Ara. This is my channel. Welcome. I am 1/4 of Direwolf City, which is 3/4 here and soon to be 4th complete thing. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I've been drinking wine. for
Why did I
Jesus and
immediately think of
beans.
Captain Planet? And all the elements.
Without
Which one of you is
powers
Heart?
I was gonna say I want to be Heart.
Of course you do.
Oh my gosh.
Of course
With
you
a little
do.
spider monkey, you know.
Little spider monkey.
that's
Oh,
right.
what was the point of that? And I don't know. That monkey
Introducing
just.
yourself?
You said you were
No!
one. Oh,
Talk about the monkey.
Oh,
The monkey.
I think he
No,
was supposed to be
yeah.
from Brazil.
I think so.
They're like, the Brazil has the Amazon basin. What comes out of the Amazon basin? Monkeys. Yeah, I think that was the whole point. It was the 90s.
They were
People
trying to
didn't-
feel international.
Yeah.
Right. Most of their audience were Caucasian twits, so nobody really.
Whoa,
Okay.
Captain Planet was loved by all. But anyway, teach
The
us
whole
about
planet.
climate change.
Glossing
Whole
over
planet.
that.
Glossing over that. Well, who else is here? Hi, Eliana.
Oh, hi, I'm Eliana. I am one half of Girls Gone Canon. We have 150% of people today, or we will.
We
That's how
will.
it's gonna work. Yeah, praise be to she. Happy to be here. We're gonna do a musical performance. We're really not. Did not wear my tap dancing shoes today.
We're not going to sing the butterfly
have any.
song.
Oh my gosh. Oh wait, let me pull. I gotta find the lyrics.
Butterflies, they turn into caterpillars.
Caterpillars.
I'm like, were you not listening to the season 2 soundtrack all day today? Was it just me? It was just I was late to getting on with you guys for a second there because I was jamming to Sassy on Sunday. I was like, let's go,
That is a good
turn
one.
up, some Easy E after that,
Yes.
just get into it.
Drop the mixtape, Judy.
Drop it, Judy Gemstone.
I am Alicia. I am also 1/4 of Direwolf City / preposterous AF. And I want to be formal, but I'm also here to party in the name of Jesus Christ. Praise be.
Hey, I'm Chloe. I've been here a couple times, I come around this neighborhood once in a while. Happy to be here. Thank you, Ara and ladies, for hosting us once more from Girls Gone Canon. I am the other half, another one of your hosts at Girls Gone Canon, and we talk about A Song of Ice and Fire, His Dark Materials, and a bunch of other stuff. Hopefully we're going to get Girls Gone Canon on demand, GGGODD
Oh my
coming
God.
to you. Girls Gone Gemstones. We want it. We really do want it. It might happen.
I
I'm
want
trying to really convince Eliana we're going to go all in on Girls Gone Gemstones. I don't know when we're going to do this because I don't know what kind of time we have in our life, but praise be to she. It's going to happen. We love the Gemstones.
We do love the
Make it feel-
Gemstones.
I want that. I would like
Yeah.
Girls
I
Gone
want that
Gemstones on Gemstones on digital demand.
GGGODDDO. It's a lot. It's a lot to remember, y'all.
It is.
I am Mandy. I'm another 1/4 of Direwolf City and Preposterous AF. And I'm just happy to be here. I missed you guys and I love Righteous Gemstones, so I'm excited.
I'm so happy we're all somewhat here. MJ is coming as well, guys. She's just running a little late. She has a new addition to the family, aka Kato. So Yuki has a puppy brother that's also a puppy. So yeah,
How exciting.
he's such a little shmush. Oh, he's so cute. But speaking of cute, I just want to start off by saying BJ's romper was the greatest thing to ever happen to me.
That episode
that's-
was
Yes,
litty.
the whole
That's all I
episode
have to
is so
say.
good.
Wild.
I was so
I guess
sad
my-
when he was sad about it.
I know when he went back into the dressing room and he ripped all of his clothes off. I was
And then
like,
put them back on.
Broken. We walked out with him back on and the cummerbund in place, and he was like standing up for himself. And I loved that for him because I love BJ. I love him as a character. I think he's great. But I like seeing him like stand up for himself and really like assert himself, even if it's not in like an aggressive way like he did with Eli. And he was very like to the point and matter of fact about it. But he's a great character. But his romper also was one of the highlights of my entire life.
Yeah, I love the baptism, and Maddie just said the whole baptism was transcendent. It was, and I love like the baptism at the front of the season and the baptism at the end, right when they're forced into the water by the Lissons that we're going to talk about later, I'm sure. But like, I love that like it was bookends of baptisms, and BJ's baptism. I love how much for Judy it was about basically a wedding for her, right? Like this was the wedding that she did not ask her dad to give her, because like to her, earning in her family's eyes, like earning that place, it would be BJ being baptized is more important than being married to her in her eyes, you know, like she sees that as the true path and that more meaningful. And that's, I don't know, I think the way that the show doesn't make fun of religion really, like it does subtly, right? Like there's lots of stuff religiously to be made fun of there, but like also like all the characters are true-hearted believers in this, and that it is a good thing, and that these morals and values will guide them, and that there is purpose for them being there. And I think that's what makes it so damn good, so damn dumb and good. It really does.
I'm actually
I
happy
think
you
that what's-
said that. Oh, I'm so sorry. What were you gonna say, Alicia?
Oh, I was going to say, I think that what's being attacked here is corruption in the church rather than the church itself. You know, there are a few moments here and there where you're just like, well, even then, I don't know if that's like Christianity in itself or just like lazy parenting when the youngest son is masturbating and he sits down and he has a talk with him about the alarm bell that goes off in heaven. And every family member you have in heaven watches you masturbate and ejaculate and all that.
Oh my God.
It was, and that like doesn't stop him. Really.
Like that's ever gonna we're all adults. Like who here has had an organ? Like of course that's not gonna stop him.
Right. Yeah, he's a little boy. And they have a VR set. I know that's not going to stop.
That feels good as hell. Good for him. He's having weird kinky self-sex. Good for him. Good for him.
It's just leaving
the stiff undies around is a little weird though.
Yeah, that is, you gotta get over that.
I don't really understand.
Boys are just
boys.
Weird kink.
It's a common like occurrence though, I hear, right? Because it's like they're trying to make their mark on the world in like the least way. It's like a, you know, like a predator thing or whatever.
I think it's just his way of rebelling. And like, you know, you have Gideon in the first season who, you know, his rebellion was very prominent through the, you know, first season. And then you had Pontius who at various times in the first season would be like, are you watching me while I sleep? You know? And then with the youngest, I think like the way that they showed him rebelling was leaving stiff garments of clothing throughout the house in random places.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree with Matt here. I mean, he named the kid Pontius, compared to the Bible is not strong with Jesse. Yeah, and figure what the youngest is Abraham.
Abraham,
Yes.
So actually, with that being said, let's
typically.
Let's kind of maybe touch upon maybe our backgrounds, since I mean this show does delve into religion, so maybe get an idea of our perspectives. I guess I can go first. So my parents didn't really like force any type of religion on me. Like I was baptized when I was like 5, but I also was one of those kids that didn't like taking naps when I was a child. So at daycare, I ran out of books to read and I started reading the children's Bible. And my daycare lady realized I was good at memorizing the stories. So, and she was like Portuguese and super religious. So that turned into extra Bible study classes for me randomly. And then my grandmother got super excited that I could recite some Bible stories when I was like 6. And she would just take me to church with like I Heart Jesus hair baubles. And she was like really proud of me. I am not religious at all, like whatsoever as an adult. Kind of lost that. I don't do I say? I love history, and I can't separate the actions that were done in the name of that faith from the religion itself. So for me, it's not for me. But yeah, that's my story. It's my origin story. Oh, my dad converted to Islam temporarily for a couple years, but then he started watching Ancient Aliens, and then that was that. So yeah.
So what did he
Please
convert
tell me your
to?
dad's an Aquarius.
He's a Cancer, but no, he just was. Yeah, his thing was
Scientology?
no, just like he's like, I think there's like he's like me, like there's like a higher power out there. I just don't think my little human brain could even fathom that type of level of consciousness. So I'm just gonna try to do nice things while I'm here, and woo, that's it. Sorry, guys. I wish I had a prettier.
No, that's like
No, I love
that's
the
like
development of
point,
that
though, too,
story.
yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people's stories are like that. My parents really like God. They're like really into God. Like, so we were very, grew up initially, being Catholic. My parents are from the Philippines. The Philippines, a lot of areas really like God. All right. One of the two countries that I think divorce is illegal in, the other, I think, being the Vatican. And so after a while, though my parents decided they didn't really like, I think, the way that the Catholic Church interprets some things. Also, I was like in CCD or whatever. I don't actually know what it stands for, but and then my parents converted to evangelicalism. And interestingly, what's funny about the Righteous Gemstones is we ended up kind of like going to a mega church. My mom is still like very much part of that, especially because they have like a strong within it, I think, Filipino fellowship and community. So my family really, especially my mom, really likes God. Chloe has informed me of what CCD stands for. It's the Confraternity of Christian Doctrine. And I was never going to remember that. So, but on the good part, like this has made me really good at analyzing things like A Song of Ice and Fire. So,
So for me, I grew up nominally Southern Baptist. I was really only made to go to church on and off. A lot of the time it wasn't even with my parents. But anyway, when I was in my late teens, I lived with a Lutheran foster family and ended up like going to church with them all the time and actually liking it. I ended up going to 2 different conservative Christian colleges, and I was really into being a conservative Christian for a long time, but probably by the age of like 24, there were just a lot of things that just didn't click with me anymore. So, it's it gets interesting because like the year after I decided I wanted no part in the church, my dad actually got really, really serious about Christianity. So him and I do tend to have very respectful conversations with each other about it. But I do remember one particular time, I was like, I'm not going to argue doctrine with you. Like, I've read the Bible 6 times. I've decided I don't take it literally, and I'm not going to argue how I don't take it literally with someone who hasn't even read it in its entirety one time. So I mean, I do enjoy the education that I got from it. I'm not resentful of that in any way. I respect other people who still have that belief system as long as they're not self-righteous or corrupt about it. And I'm actually, I try to learn about the 2 other major monotheistic religions. So right now, just to educate myself on it, like I am studying Islam, because I find it really interesting. And I try to learn what I can about Judaism, but it's a lot harder to come by someone who's willing to really teach you Judaism in its depth. So yeah, I mean, spiritually, I am definitely searching for truth, but as far as like my partaking in the Christian church, that's long gone. But,
I get a lot of that too. I was brought up Roman Catholic. I too went to CCD, which is basically just like night school for elementary, middle school, high school kids to learn about Jesus. And like you hit your sack. It's like driver's ed, but for Catholicism. You know what I mean? Like you have to go to these optional night classes to prove yourself. You get to choose a name though. This is cool. You get to choose a name that brings you into Christianity. Yeah. I went for Mary, and I remember telling everybody that would ever listen to my annoying 13-year-old ass, I would constantly be like Magdalene, the cool one. You know what I mean? Like, not like I thought I'm not like other girls in the Bible, the other 4 girls. But no, I grew up Catholic, and like I grew up in high school. I was annoying in middle school and high school. I was probably really annoying, and something that Alicia said really sticks me here is like, not because of the church necessarily, but because of the people in the church and how they act, right? And like I love my parents. God bless them. God bless their hearts. But they are like, sometimes they could be a little hypocritical and judgmental, right? And that shit passes down to a kid. All of a sudden, you're like arguing abortion's not okay in a 15-year-old like civics class. Like, girl, that was you? Who was that? Right? Like that kind of stuff. I went to youth group. I had a crush on a guy in youth group. He wouldn't talk to me, but his friend liked me. So I lost my virginity to his friend, right? So Catholicism will lead you to the devil, everyone. It wasn't good. It took us like 120 seconds at least to find an angle where it went in. You know what I mean? It was like really bad. And then I was like, ow, this hurts. Get out. Please get out. It was so bad.
Exercise that penis from your body.
Catholicism is so bad. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm very spiritual now. Like, as Alicia knows, we talk about our moons and our suns and our ascendant signs all the time together, you know? So like, we know, very spiritual. I actually, to piggyback, I married a Jewish man, not very practicing, but Jewish. And like, it's still technically, but I actually read a lot of, I have a couple really good books of just Jewish, like religious mythology and different lore and how it's been changed through the ages that I always am reading. It's like a 2,000-page book. It's Tree of Souls. It's great. Buy it if you have a chance. I really highly recommend that one, Alicia. I'm trying to do the similar because I feel like every religion has it right somewhere, right? Like there's all a common thread that like we all know, don't be dicks, and like there's probably something above us. And I believe that like I've done maybe mind altering things that would help me believe that as well. But like, you know, like there is something out there, probably more powerful than us that we will never understand. Ever.
You know, my brother actually converted to Judaism a couple of years ago, and he definitely, like, he was how I learned, like, it's easy to find someone in Christianity that's willing to sit down and teach you. It's easy to find someone, you know, a Muslim that's willing to sit down and teach you. But with Judaism, you can tell he was saying he feels like they're a lot more earnest about it, because when you seek to learn it, they're like, I mean, we'll teach you, but are you sure? You know, so I mean, like, he went through the classes and all that other stuff. And I think what led him to Judaism is he worked in intelligence in the military for years, and he knows Hebrew just about as well as he knows English. And because he knows Hebrew, he would watch, to keep up with the language, he would kind of like watch the news in Israel, and he would like watch shows in Hebrew and all that. So he ended up converting. And I love hearing him talk about Judaism, because my brother as well went through a conservative Christian phase. And I love hearing people talk about faith when they once believed in something else. You know, there's something so much more earnest and genuine to it. But I find Judaism extremely interesting. Like I said, you know, but yeah.
So I was raised in a Southern Baptist home, but my father's family was Irish Catholic, so we went to Mass on special occasions, holidays, things like that. But for the most part, the Southern Baptist was what it was all day, every day. And by that, I mean, like, every time the church doors were open, we had to go to whatever was happening. So on Mondays, we were there. On Wednesdays, we did Awanas. Thursdays, it was like choir practice. Fridays was a choir performance and youth group. And then seasonally, we had, what's that other one? I don't know. I ran a whole vacation Bible school when I was like 14 for the little kids. And it was like, but again, Southern Baptist. So everything was a sin. You know, we couldn't play cards. We couldn't, not even like Uno. We couldn't
What?
wear anything that like exposed our knees. We couldn't like slutty shoulders. Like all of it was my whole life. We couldn't dance. We couldn't like sing anything
It's like
that wasn't
Footloose.
approved. It was really like Footloose. Jesus. But I took a world religions course in college, and I read the Torah, and I, like Alicia, studied Islam. I found, like Chloe said, other truths. And so it made me question what I had been taught was the true and absolute truth. And I've gotten to a point where I don't think I believe in anything anymore. I think we're just here. And if that's not right, I don't feel like I'm a bad person. So I don't think that I need like a higher power to make me be a good person. And that's just kind of where I'm at. I don't like, I love that other people have religion. I love that they feel like they're part of something bigger, and I love that for them. I don't ever like look down on people or like scoff, like, oh, you're ridiculous, how could you believe that? No, I love that you believe that. I love that you have something like that for you. I just don't have that.
Very well said.
Praise be.
Praise be.
Praise be to she. God damn it.
My other alternative, if people ask, is I'm like not like a Jedi, but like a Qui-Gon Jedi.
Jesus Christ. Ara.
It's like a Qui-Gon Jedi.
I just
not like
choked because you're like,
there's somewhere you can register that. I think I forgot. Like people
Yeah,
have
no,
like
it's like-
registered that like as
You
a
can.
religion.
yeah,
Really?
I think you can do it in America too. And if anybody asks, that's me. But like the Qui-Gon version, attachment's cool. Just just don't kill sand people because your mom died, bro. Like,
Or the younglings.
or the younglings, exactly. Like, what did they just called you Master Skywalker, and you got to
I don't know. The
read.
younglings had it coming.
I like how
You reminded him of his failure.
I'd love to hear
Anyway,
Nim's
this
like,
brought out the darkness in Nim today. She's like,
she had to teach younglings before, and I'm curious of your insight on Kelvin, because I'm like, oh, so you were on the Kelvin path, kind of teaching that whole Bible school by
I
yourself.
have 5 younglings of my own. They had it coming.
Oh my
and wow, damn.
Actually, I'm glad you brought up Kelvin. Can we what is everybody's thoughts on the muscle men? How did we land with the muscle men?
Every time I think they inch closer and closer to just letting Kelvin come out and everyone being okay with that, they're like, no. I think the muscle men were really just that big hint, like, hey, Kelvin's still gay. I'm not sure how I feel about the muscle men as a whole beyond toward the end of the season when Kelvin carried that cross and he, stuck it in its little, what do you call it? Hole, for lack of better words. I've been drinking. but no, I think in one way it served a purpose to show that Kelvin's not just this little soft, spoiled boy. But I do also think like one big reasoning behind the muscle men was just kind of like this lazy sort of like, oh, hey, Kelvin's gay. Kelvin's still gay,
Yeah, I just feel like it has to end with him and Keith becoming a couple, right? Like that their end game, right? They have to be end game. Like, I will not settle for anything less than K, Kelvin and Keith.
I mean, Keith was at the family lunch.
I loved that. What was it Eli called him? Your friend Queef?
Your friend Queef. There's this great quote. So I read some interviews, right? Because I'm a nerd. And I've been reading like a lot of different interviews between Adam Devine and Tony Cavallero, who plays Queef. Queef affectionately. Funny that he can get BJ right, but not Queef. They basically, the whole deal is that like the muscle men are just another thing that Kelvin is trying to prove himself to his daddy, right? Like it's obvious he's trying to prove himself to his daddy. And the flashback episode with him was great this season because we got to see that he was like a child prodigy, right? And because of the way he was treated by his siblings and that he was the last child, his child prodigyness like got almost swept aside and he internalized it all and he thinks he's Jesus, right? As we saw over last season and this season. But him and Tony Cavallero, Adam Devine and Tony Cavallero both have said basically in different reasons that like we don't get to dive into the relationship because it's uncomfortable. They know what it is and they know that they're focusing on each other and that somebody has this going on, so we have to fix that for them, or daddy's doing this to me, so I have to focus on that. And they play therapist, best friend, and even love interest. And like, so without those conflicts, you get to actually break the relationship down and see that they are like in total love. I mean, Keith was on his knees in front of fucking his
underwear.
That was, and it was like, no, we're covering it up. And that it's so homoerotic and the undertones of the homoeroticism is so great. Like I love it so much. But the muscle men and then now being muscle children, the God Squad for youth, that it was very funny when they were like, ha ha ha, yeah, we're grooming these young children. Ha ha, we shouldn't be alone with them. Ha ha, no, we're fine. We're fine. No permission slips.
Taking the children out into the desert, which again, big younglings vibes, but
Nim, settle down.
I like this comment from Kiri. I think he wanted to get away from being the child pastor. What better way to do it by surrounding yourself with muscular men?
They're muscle men, daddy. That's it. That's Kelvin in a line. We don't have to talk about Kelvin. That's it.
It's like what
it's like what the Can we please talk about that man boob slap that Keith does?
That was my favorite scene. I have that GIF saved to my phone.
That and the penis in his eye.
Turns around
oh, that was so sad.
You know,
so much conviction.
Because you know that was improvised.
Yeah. I told my 70-year-old boss to watch the show when I saw that, but the episode with the dick in the eye came out the day I told my boss to watch that episode.
You're like, oh god, what have I done?
About the dick in the eye.
Oh my god!
Here, I brought you berries and nuts.
Oh gosh, that's right. It was so sad though, like Keith out there in the little crate
box.
Yeah,
his best disciple, man.
His
like
disciple.
Most loyal disciple.
Honestly, when he tried,
he
tried so hard.
He holds his penis so that he holds a Kelvin's penis so that Kelvin can pee, but his thumbs are broken. So
and then he sits there and cries when Kelvin finally carries the cross. He's just like, yes.
I was surprised that I was like, okay, so Kelvin's strong enough to do this. I was like, okay, interesting. I mean, I know that
blew my mind.
Not, but...
leg strength. That's strong legs. Kelvin got strong legs.
And core, you gotta hold it up. Gotta hold that all up.
I think we need to talk about those flapping butt cheeks that Keith had when he freed him from the cage and they held hands running to the safe house. And then when they were in the safe house and he's like, God, you are being so annoying, Keith. Don't be that guy. And he's like, I'm sorry. This is my first time in a safe house situation. What guy am I being? Keith is just, he needs to be protected at all times. Like, I really, like last season's arc with Keith, like,
remember the condom?
Yeah, the bride is a genius because every time I think, how are they going to top that? Like, I'm like, how are they going to top the baby? How are they going to top the baby? And then they did what they did with
the sense deprivation tank with his dick sticking up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's right.
So that had to be a fake dick, right? Because legally they can't show it if it's hard on a human, I believe, without it being a different rating from what I've heard. So like that was probably a prosthetic, I think, which we're very used to prosthetics from Euphoria, right? There's some ass eating this season, for example. Anyway, but a lot of dicks. Oh my God. Euphoria and Righteous Gemstones this season. Dicks.
Yes.
And
right after the other.
I'm watching Eastbound and Down
like,
now. I'm watching Eastbound and Down right now. And like, cause I'd never watched it. And I was like, I should, because it's Danny McBride. And it is the unpolished raw version of this, right? Like everything that he was playing there, that was his playground for this, his fucking masterpiece. Like this is his magnum opus. Eastbound and Down, he was like, I will play and see what works. And Gemstones, he's like, I've had time because of COVID. Season 2 will kick your ass.
I feel like Vice Principals was like the nice little.
I gotta watch that still.
Oh, and it has Walton Goggins in it too.
Yes,
So
that's why.
Uncle Baby Billy. It is.
Everything Walton Goggins touches is just pure gold. Like, I really loved his character in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, Venus.
Venus.
Venus
Oh,
was a masterpiece.
It was so well done.
You know,
What is,
and-
my husband quotes it all the time, and he always goes, "Have you ever had your dick sucked by a Southern belle with a huge cock?" His character in Sons of Anarchy is wild.
Yes,
But that's
I
the
love
thing.
that
He's
character.
so, whatever role he has, he just absolutely kills it. Like, I haven't seen the movie, what's it called? It's something about Tommy Lee Gray, Samuel L. Jackson, where he gains all of his memories from his previous life. Walton Goggins plays a doctor in that movie. And in the preview, from just the 5 seconds you see of him being like, we can help you access all parts of, like, you can tell he's really good at that serious role, even though the things I'm used to seeing him in are like Uncle Baby Billy. And, you know, Venus is a little more of a comedic character in Sons of Anarchy. Like, I do love the serious things they give her, but generally when I see Walton, they're very comedic roles, but he just kills it. Can we talk about Uncle Baby Billy? Like, is this a good transition?
I was gonna say quickly,
Because I want to talk
the
about
serious thing. I was sorry, just one little thing. I think of him from The Shield. That's the first time I met him was in The Shield.
interesting.
My parents used to watch it, and I used to just be up. So I'd be like, "Oh, this is cool," and yeah, he's just like a piece of shit cop in that show. But with that being said, it reminds me the scene where at the after he gets punched in the face by Harmon.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of his character from The Shield a little bit. But Alicia, what were you going to say about Uncle Baby Billy?
Oh, I was going to say we should talk about Uncle Baby Billy because I think a lot of these characters did huge evolving throughout this season. I think Uncle Baby Billy was one of those. I really loved him showing back up in Harmon's life. I was not expecting quite a few things when it came to Harmon. The big one is I was not expecting Macaulay Culkin to play Harmon. I was not expecting Harmon to be able to speak beyond hep hep.
Meow meow, son.
And, meow meow. Yeah, hep hep, son. All right.
We say that like every
You're a cat
hour
boy.
in my house. Meow meow. You a cat boy, son? Like that's every other hour in my house right now. That's it.
You know. So
It's
I mean,
really
I
important.
really there was this because I don't know, like my father was gone for a huge chunk of my life. And when he came back, I have such a close, like, great bond with my father now. And it was something that we both really, really worked on. So I think like that scene as someone who's had to tackle as an adult with the reemergence of their parent, I felt like there was something so organic about that scene. And one thing I really loved is that you see Harmon and his wife and kids in that last scene where they're all in the Sunday service. You know, so I mean, like it shows that it looks like they're, you know, Uncle Baby Billy and Harmon are building on their relationship. But what I love is they preserved everything that makes Uncle Baby Billy, but they're making him less shitty as he progresses. So
Yeah.
I liked the theory that was circulating around before we got the Macaulay Culkin reveal that Harmon was actually Keef.
Yeah, I was wondering if we like already knew Harmon or something, and then
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad with the way that it all went.
I
Oh,
was scared
same.
Harmon was dead.
I was scared he
Like
was
he
BJ.
passed away or something.
Yeah.
I was like, what if it's
Nephew
BJ?
TJ?
Yeah.
that.
Like you said, he went through a whole arc, and like I didn't even think he was gonna come back to Tiffany, but then he did, and I was happy. And you said, he stopped being as shitty, but in a way, he stayed very shitty because his hands were maybe covered with shit as he pulled his second son out of the porta potty.
I can't take you anywhere. Oh my god.
You know what though?
heroic.
I remember before I got to know Eliana, I think like what put Eliana absolutely on my radar, I could be wrong, but there was that montage from season 7 of Game of Thrones with Sam in the Citadel. And I think you named it the Shitadel. Yeah, so that was her screen name for a really long time. And her avatar on Twitter was her with these like paints on her hands like this. So I just got a flashback, except with shitty hands.
Oh my god, that's really funny. I never thought about your profile avatar thing as that, and now I can't.
Me neither. I like it.
Well, now I'm just thinking out of the Sailor Moon blood instead. Like it's moon blood all over your hands instead.
Yeah, and oh wait, no, that wasn't moon blood. Never mind. We
I was gonna say
also the blood later.
Party
also
potty.
on,
Yes, the blood on Eli.
But
the ladies of the night.
My favorite thing about Harmon, though, and like about Baby Billy's arc is Judy and Tiffany. My favorite of the entire thing is Aunt Tiffany. Aunt Tiffany is my favorite part of the show right now. Thank you. Thanks, nieces. I cried. Aunt Tiffany made me cry this season, which I do wonder. I think her name's kind of a cute little pun, too, when you think about it. Aunt Tiffany, like the theories. That she like was not putting up with his shit, that she was like, Baby Billy, you aren't supposed to do that. You got to be a good father. What the fuck's your issue? I love that she like called him on his stuff and she did forgive him, but Judy and Aunt Tiffany is the plot that I care about, that Judy found it finally somehow to care about someone else, right? Like, in a way, almost authentically as Judy could. She found a way to give a shit about someone else, and she loves her Aunt Tiffany. Even when Amber was trying to give her snack, she's like, that's my Aunt Tiffany. I'm taking care of her and I'm comforting her now. Okay.
She's a tree person.
Oh my god.
I loved her
out of that tree. I almost died. That huge belly, and she spider monkeys out of the tree. I couldn't.
Tiffany, something that I really loved about, since we're on Judy now, let's talk about Judy. Definitely had the biggest arc because Judy definitely Judy last season, but I remember at the beginning of this season, the first few episodes, thinking to myself, like, I don't know if I like her this season. Like, she's really freaking insufferable. Like, that scene with BJ's sister in the bathroom, don't get me wrong, I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. I laughed the whole way through, but at the same time, I was like, I can't handle this. I can't handle Judy this season. Because when she licked her nose, I was like, what the hell is going on? However, it turned out that whole time they wanted to make Judy absolutely insufferable at the beginning of this season, because then you get to see the juxtaposition between the beginning of the season versus the ending of the season, because Eli absolutely calls her on her crap. He says, Tiffany is a part of this family. You are a spoiled, selfish little girl, da-da-da. And, because I think Judy said something like, she cleans the house with vinegar. She got my whole house smelling like, I can't remember what she said, but I was rolling.
It smells like asshole.
Yeah. She has like the best lines.
She does. As she told Baby Billy, because he forced her to raise Aunt Tiffany as one of her own, she was forced to care about something that wasn't herself or BJ. She always really cared about BJ, and that was always apparent, but it was just great. So when she went after Tiffany on that bus, I was just like, yes.
It was stopped.
She smashed the glass after it was already
the bus was stopped.
Judy's definitely like the funniest gemstone, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
She's the most unhinged character on any show right now, and she is everything. She is the moment, she is the era. Everything that comes out of that woman's mouth is fucking gold, and she works so closely with them. Like, she does help influence some of the plot and script. I know that. How Misbehavin' was written was a group text between Danny McBride, her, and the audio lead, and they were all texting just silly little aphorisms back and forth, and the audio guy suddenly goes running through the house with a pickle in your mouth, and they were like, that's gold, put that in. They like they have to do that all the time for this shit, I'd guess, but she's actually a good part of it, which makes me really excited because she's funny, she's gold.
You can tell she ad-libs a lot. Like, it was a very small instance, but I think it was just really well done when baby Billy shows up at Zion's Landing and he's trying to get Tiffany back, and Judy kind of comes in to intercede, and baby Billy's like, oh, I'm gonna talk to my wife, and she kind of backs out, but she's like, don't wave your hand at me. You can tell she made that up on the spot, but I'm like, yes, it's perfect. It's just, she's really good at playing. Judy's a very chaotic character. I think chaos is the best word to describe.
No, you're Felicia.
Actually, you're Felicia. I'm not Felicia. Actually, I'm glad you brought up Judy in in chaos, because the way she treats BJ's family.
Oh my god!
Oh god!
It's true.
When she's like, "You're here for a baptism. If this was a she's like, it's not a party. If this was like a circumcision, would you be asking to like come to my house or something like that?" And I was just, oh my god. When she's like, "You guys aren't here for all that. You guys are gonna stay in this hotel." Even though I have 14 bedrooms, my aunt's a feral person and she needs space.
And she took like the questioning about how many rooms they had like so personally. She's like, her sister's shoving her secular humanism with dad's face.
Can we talk about how BJ's sister looks so much like Judy?
Yes.
It's so weird.
That's his real life wife. That's his wife in real life. The actual
Are you
wife.
serious?
I'm serious.
That's hilarious.
So that makes
it even better that Judy licked her.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the chemistry between all three of them is fucking fire. But it's so funny because I can imagine. I read an article that like they do try to stay true to the script, but they do a little improv depending on the scene at the end of the scene. Like, as long as it's not like too like something that he wants to happen a certain way, and that I can imagine that a lot of her bullshit had to be like a little bit of improv reaction to him, because the way their chemistry works between KJ and BJ, which who's more ridiculous, the Gemstones or BJ's family? Okay, KJ and BJ, those kids are gonna get beat up. Come on now.
I thought it was cute.
But
no, her
straight
straight
each other on the lips.
Yeah, that was like weird.
But
Funny,
the weirdness was drowned out by Judy in the bathroom with her.
Like, you don't want to have sex with your brother, that fine ass.
Did you notice that the mirror the mirror says I washed my hands to keep away from Satan on it too, in the rooms back there? Yeah, straight up.
I love that.
I didn't notice.
I love that.
Misbehaving.
I also agree. She definitely wants to have sex with her brothers.
Yeah.
But she's like, oh, you don't think that Kelvin and Jesse are just mad that he took me off the market? And it's like, what?
You know what though?
Sorry, what?
You know what though? When Amber was talking about Jesse's not stupid, he's just really dense. And
yeah.
Judy was talking about like, oh yeah, because you just came along and you said, oh, that silverback gorilla. I was like, that's quite descriptive for your brother.
Maybe this is like an only child problem, but I mean, it is true to an extent. Like, what she said is like, she's like, well, you're telling me, gun to your head, you wouldn't do it just because of primalness and like because a gun's gonna kill you and you're gonna die, which is like great because of course anyone's gonna say yes, and it is totally fucked up mentality, but that is what Christianity bred like several of hundreds of years ago. Like, there was a lot of that shit where they were like, well, like God would want it, it's purity or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, Lot's and his daughters. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yes,
Fuck?
It is the most Christian bullshit.
There were other people. There were like literally other towns. This was not the only town. That was that was an unhinged thing.
Yeah.
They made it sound like it was the flood and they had to repopulate.
Yeah, it's like no, and it's like, why did you pick your dad? Anyway, sorry, but I also want to give props to Judy's child actor, because she was just so good too.
Yes. I love her. I love her.
And I'm like, damn, they have this child saying all this crazy shit. And I'm just like, she did amazing with it, though.
Can I just say the child actor for not only Judy's character, but the one that does Jesse's character as well, is so he nails Danny McBride's like mannerisms, the way he like even says certain words. Like he does such a great job. I wish I got his name beforehand, but props to props to both of them.
A thought I just had, because it occurred to me this season that Amy Lee and Eli have always let their kids kind of like cuss as long as it's not like on stage in front of the church and all that other stuff. They've never minded. So I want to know how Kelvin ended up being the sibling. Maybe it's a youth pastor thing, ended up being the sibling when they were like, let's lie to the church like a fucking family. Him going, let's lie to the church like a freaking family.
I love that.
Like, I wonder how he ended up being the one being like saying things like freaking a-hole.
I think he believes it the most, though. Like, I think him of all the children, he believes the most in it and thinks that, like, God, because he thinks he's Jesus. I mean, obviously, but he like thinks he's a chosen one under God. Not unlike the Listens, who are like, God's chosen us, and they get blasted by the Amen. Praise be to He. You know, I just think like he's the one that still believes in the magic of it a little bit. And I mean, he's like the Roman Roy of the thing, right? Like he loves his daddy. He loves his daddy.
That youngest child thing. And it makes sense for him because they were already wealthy by the time Kelvin was born. He wasn't like the struggle. He's like the Chet Hanks of the family. You know how like Tom Hanks' older children are like
who's that?
So you know, like Tom Hanks has like older children that are like normal, and then there's Chet.
And then there's Chet.
Is he the one who's like posting like those weird selfie videos of himself?
Like White Boy Summer?
Yes.
White Boy Summer.
That one's him, that's right.
It's a mad ting, yes.
I love that
both energy had a chat.
I love that the Listens had a chat too, and they had the nega chat world that like Chet dies in the shit that goes on, and his Mandy, his Megan, is there like, yo, what the hell? That was cool as hell to have that as a parallel. Like the Listens as a parallel is so good.
The Listens are funny.
I feel like the Listens were really well written because we kind of just got a little snippet of them in the beginning with the Zion's Landing thing, and then it gets shot down, and then we don't see them again at all. Like, we know they're still there. We know everyone still wants the Zion's Landing deal, but we never see the Listens again until the very end of the season. And I think that was so beautifully done because the whole time people were trying to figure out like who tried to, shoot Eli and, shot at Jesse and Amber, and then did eventually shoot Eli, and the Listens never even crossed their mind.
And it's so obvious, especially on rewatch. From their introduction, the one thing that I notice on this rewatch that I'm so excited about, and you need to go back and watch it, but you get the whole performance, right? Which we talk about as being awesome, but also like from the performance alone, you should realize they're bad guys. They're not good. Their people are out there having pretend heart attacks to like be like, praise God. Like, what the fuck? People are hurting themselves. Yeah, they're literally, and we see someone get hurt. And then then as soon as the big show's over, we get this flash forward to Jesse, Amber, and the Listens eating a feast together, right? They're feasting on some gorgeous Southern food. I want to eat it right now. It sounds so good. There was some brisket in there. There was everything, some sausages, some really good mac. And then you get the shot of the people on the stage scrubbing their sweat on their hands and knees, all on their hands and knees scrubbing. And the Texas star that's risen in the stage that they were originally on, when you get it from above, it looks like a pentagram. It has a circle around it. It looks like a pen. It's Danny McBride humor, like for sure, that he's like, oh, they're evil. They're evil. But like it zooms in on the food and you see the meat all laid out, right? Like thematically, the meat is just there. And they're like, yeah, we're stuffing meat. We're talking about how rich we are. Like they literally say, we rule the West Coast. You rule the East Coast. And you're like, oh, these guys are not good. They're evil, maybe.
I guess for me, like, the Listens always struck me as Kelvin would say, a-holes. But one thing that was really clever about what they did, because on the first watch through, I had forgotten about the Lissons, and I think they want you to forget about the Lissons because I think
Definitely.
Junior is the original red herring about who hired the biker ninjas, but I think they did a second red herring because they really wanted you to forget about the Lissons for a while, and I think that second red herring was very mildly Amber.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very, very mildly Amber.
Yes, because I thought she might be in with the Listens for a minute. I was like, so is she helping? Because it seems like she's, but when that didn't happen, I was like, oh, thank God. First of all, I was like, because Amber, I rooted for you. You know what I mean? Like,
I love Amber.
Girl.
But they very much gave her like a power grab vibe this season.
Yeah. Yes.
And,
I think
like I said, Jesse even calls her a gold digger at one point.
And she's like, "What'd you say?" And he's like, I said
Amberson.
I was gonna say,
I can't even make an Amberson joke these days. Okay.
Like,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because Amber's a good shot, as we saw last season when she shot Jesse in the butt.
And this season.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with biker ninjas. He was like, "I want you to know, I could have shot them if I wanted to." No, but the thing about Amber, I think one thing that they're going to expand on in season 3, and maybe they said this at some other point, and I think I'm having this epiphany, but really it's just a memory from previously in the series. I get the feeling that Amber grew up poor, and that's why the gold digger comment like ruffled her so much. Because if you remember in season 1, where someone said something about like, oh, it doesn't hurt that you have a private jet, and she's like, that is the church's private jet. Like Amber.
Yeah, they did say that in season 1 because Judy calls her a poverty person.
Yes, she was a poverty person.
Okay.
Judy.
Hill person, poverty person, pick one. Tag yourself, girls.
Right, but I think they're going to delve into Amber's background a little bit more in season 3. We'll talk about season 3 later on.
Soon.
Know what I would actually like to see? I know we're jumping a little ahead, but so we get that whole firstborns thing at that dinner with the Listens and obviously Jesse
Double
and Amber.
firstborn changing the world.
Double firstborns. Actually, it's funny. Me and my husband are double firstborns too. But
me and Eliana, we're only children. We're only borns.
Me and Mandy are youngest children right here. Okay.
Yeah, we're the babies.
We're the babies.
We have a little bit of everything. We don't have any middle children at the moment.
Is MJ a middle child?
Yes.
Yeah.
Middle-ish. Yeah.
One of, right?
One of the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
The middle isn't expansive.
It's a spectrum.
I have 3 middle children.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
3 middle younglings,
But
I
do
don't
have
think
to say,
Nim needs any younglings.
I'm gonna be quite honest. When they were having their like eldest child like speech, I was like, I felt every moment of it. I was like, yeah. And I was watching it with like my best friend Jade, and Jade and I were like, yeah, no, they got that. That's exactly how it is. We take care of everything.
When she says boomers are the most selfish generation, I was like, wow, this was written for us? They gave this to us? Thank you.
But here's the thing about
me.
Only, like, technically, even though Eliana and Chloe are only children, and even though I am a youngest child, technically we can all say we are eldest daughters. And that in itself is a whole role to play,
Firstborns.
I do technically have a half sibling, maybe 2. It's hairy, but
I might have some halfies somewhere. I don't think, but like they'd be bastards like me. I'd be cool with that.
I love that. I was gonna say, I think everybody probably has a long lost sibling out there.
I don't want to think about it.
Only reason I say that is I feel like I kind of wish that is it bad? I kind of want like there to be like a bunch of Uncle Baby Billy children just scattered in the winds.
I'm surprised he only has 2.
Yeah. It doesn't.
He knows of.
He seems potent. It must be his health elixir.
Oh my god! Just one pump of this, and no more COVID.
No more. You know what? Good for them, because everyone else is pretending it doesn't exist in their plots for the most part, which I like. I like having my escapism clean. To be fair, as somebody still suffering from the pandemic Lovato, I like having escapism, but like good for them for being brave enough to fucking try to make a joke out of COVID. Because I think a lot of people are just so afraid, and that makes it even more grating to me that I'm like, dude, we all live with it. Get over it.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just because COVID has become so political, even though it really shouldn't have, you know.
Right.
But I mean, what was my train of thought? Oh, I've been really excited to talk about Eli, the patriarch, the glue that keeps us all together.
Got a lot.
The Maniac Kid.
Maniac Kid.
That,
The Maniac
you
Kid.
know, Eli is really, really dark, and I'm here for it. And
He's an outlaw.
From beginning to end, get like little bookmarks, you know, from his past to like how he definitely rehired those ninja ski doers, you know, to take care of the Listons.
Well, that definitely was Eli and Martin.
Yeah, he sent Martin there.
Yep. I love Martin. I love Martin so much.
We need some Martin next season, like a whole Martin like exposition episode. I would love it.
I think we will get some. Like
we got a little bit. We got a little bit when he very first came, and Eli's like, "What the hell are you doing in my chair?" But he proved right away that he was very like down for the cause, and I respect that. Like someone that you, even in that situation, know automatically right away that
Ride
you
or
can
die.
trust. Yeah.
Honestly,
and I love that.
I love when he's like, "Wait, Martin, you have a family?"
Yeah,
like,
oh my God. I love that. We saw his wife. She's there every Sunday.
Every Sunday. Or when Jesse was like,
kid.
"See, this is what I mean. I just don't think I could do this leadership thing." I'm like, "What? Remember 3 fucking names, you fucking idiot? What?
You know what though? He had a good point. He's like, "See, I can't even do that. What kind of a head pastor would I make?" But he's like,
you know,
"Yeah, like you send money to your wife in Africa," and he's like, "No, my wife is here." And he's
more
like,
men should come to that realization. I'm gonna be honest.
but no, Eli. I love how they bookmarked how dark Eli actually is, and I think it's just kind of like a taste going into season 3. Like I said, we will talk about it later, because at the beginning of the season they kind of teased you about Amy Lee having some skeletons in the closet, and then they just kind of left it hanging, and I think we're going to see a little more of that in season 3. But Eli I do like Eli and Junior together. Now that we know like Junior wasn't really after.
I love Eric Roberts. He's so good.
So good.
Someone in the chat earlier said they love the way he says daddy, and every time that gets me, daddy. He puts like a whole E into it.
And I might get divorced if I don't say this, so I have to put this out here. Emmett Welsh. Can we just get a goddamn amen in the chat for Eli's daddy as well? Speaking of daddy, Emmett Welsh and Eric Roberts were the best guest actors of the whole like show. The best.
I agree.
Yeah.
The casting as a whole has been spectacular.
Like getting John Amos as like the Listons, like I always forget Larry Lisson, whatever Eric Andre's character is.
Lionel.
Lyle.
I kept changing his name.
Lionel's the baby.
You learned that tonight.
But anyways, from Coming to America, Mr. McDowell, I was like, they made that his dad. I was like, I love it. They do such great casting.
I got so sad when I watched that scene. When she got up.
Elder abuse.
I know.
When she got up and slapped him, I'm like, first of all, I don't care what anyone says, okay? I'm just going to say it. First of all, you dumb white bitch. Don't put your hands on him. Okay? That just sent me through the freaking roof. Like, how are you going to treat your father-in-law? Like, but anyway, no. And
no, but it goes to the writing and how subtle the evil was in the beginning, and then we see them again, she's literally hitting old black people. Like, it was a huge. So in case you didn't pick up on this, they're fucking horrible people.
I love that. It was such a horrid reveal of who they really are. Like, you knew they were bad just from the way they were, like, when they said to them, when he was like, Jesse, I binged you. First of all, who the fuck uses Bing? If you're in the
Right.
chat using
Evil
Bing,
people.
I'll pray for you. You know what I mean? Like, I will pray for you if you use Bing, but who the fuck? Anyways, I binged you. You're worth this much. Oh, you did? That was like your hint, Jesse, you stupid bitch, to be like, oh, you binged me. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No deal.
Like they're not your friends.
They are looking at you like an eBay auction, honey. XOXO. That like really turned me off. And then like that reveal obviously showed you like, oh, duh, like it was just a red herring with the junior stuff. And the pacing helped with that a lot, I think. Like the pacing and the action up until those moments. Like that we opened the last episode and they're at Zion's Landing. And as we talk about some of our predictions for season 3, I think that like we're gonna be in trouble, right? Because like they just absorbed
Turtles.
Yeah, the turtles, exactly. I'm about to petition that shit. But not only will I petition it, also like they just like were like, oops, no more listens, and they definitely constricted those beautiful purple colored gemstone snowmobile LED snowmobiles. Eli was like, he straight up looks at Jesse, he's like, or Junior, he looks at Junior, he's like, nah, we're gonna let God deal with people. It's not our jobs, Junior. Praise be, you know? And then he's like, also, I paid for Martin to be in Alaska to go murder these bitches with these children that we also just took. Like, you're not better necessarily.
Yeah.
And that has to come to a head because here is another piece of Eli's legacy that has been built on lies and people's blood. Whether they're bad or good people, that doesn't really matter, right? He just like lets his little flag fly. Gemstones have a new property and a new liquid asset, baby.
Speaking of Eli's blood, he was talking to his manscaping escapades.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Can we talk about how angry they were? They were so angry because he, years after their mother's death, he tried to sleep with another woman, and they preferred that he would have been a murderer over trying to get his pee-pee wet.
That was the problem. That was the problem.
But can I just say, those ladies, like, not to judge a book by their cover, but they look totally DTF. Like, they were
Eli.
That one lady.
Eli is Poland. Yo.
I mean, he could be one of these young ladies' sugar daddies if they play their cards right.
Yeah, he's just giving out 10 mil all the time now, I hear. So I'm in. Hey, Eli. Praise be to ye.
What if that's something that happens like next season? Like, what if Eli starts dating and that's like a plot or whatever?
Yes.
Because clearly they reacted very terribly.
They're
like, I wish you had killed someone.
You're right. What they say, cheating on mama.
I'm hoping for like protests at Zion's Landing for the turtles.
Yes.
I need a scene. I need a scene where Judy is screaming, I don't care about the fucking turtles, and throws one into the ocean. Like, I need that deep in my soul.
Like in Succession with the protest and the guy that's holding a sign that says Roy Cunt. Like, that's all I want for this show. I love, or the P, just hit someone with P. I love that. And I love that, like, Zion's Landing, like, don't they get, someone has to be there to run it now. So, like, how's that going to work? Joe Jonas. Talk about a cult.
Sophie Turner.
Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. Let's talk about Game of Thrones and Joe Jonas real quick. Eliana and I have been talking. Legally, I don't think that they were allowed. Eliana has been saying, I don't think they're allowed to say Sophie Turner. But if you watch in the finale, there is a woman who's blonde, slight, and tall that's standing at the table right next to him before he comes to the stage. And I think it's supposed to be modeled after Sophie Turner.
Right.
I really do.
He says that it's Jesse, and he said he's the one that married Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. He married Game of Thrones.
Talk about,
I was like, did she have a baby recently? So I'm wondering if she was pregnant or like just gave birth during filming. It's probably why she didn't.
I think she has like a 1-year-old at this point. She gave birth a while ago.
Yeah,
I think.
But that they never said her name.
Game of Thrones.
That's true.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
And they kept just saying Joe Jonas's wife. Like the whole, I think like maybe that was an agreement or something. Maybe he was like, I'll come on the show, but you cannot
touch my girl.
You cannot say Sophie Turner or something. I don't know.
Plus, like, I mean, you don't have to for everybody to know what you're talking about as well. So I do love like even if they were legally bound to subtlety. Yeah.
It's topical.
Yeah, but can we please talk about Keef
it's
and
Joe Jonas.
First of all, I want to talk about Keef's work
His
that he
goth
did on the
outfit
stand.
also.
I
Yes,
love
second off,
it.
I want to talk about how flustered and starstruck Keith was outside of the porta potty.
Oh, and they're arguing about who gets to go in first.
Oh my gosh.
You can go, Mr. Joe Jonas.
I can hold it.
That was so funny.
Well, he still has very visible Hail Satan tattoos.
666.
Oh.
Oh, my poor baby.
And then
Masterpiece.
just runs in.
Oh,
And
my
Joe
God.
Jonas is like, she's not with us. She's not with us.
I mean, if you just want to be associated with toilet babies and hill people,
Oh
I
my
get it.
gosh.
I get it. It's Joe Jonas, but he doesn't mind being associated with the Listen. So
His
That's
outfit in the
true.
first episode in that Texas
Oh, when he's singing
episode, yes.
God Bless
God
Texas.
bless
God
Yes.
bless Texas.
What is he wearing?
Amazing. It's culty
I love-
as shit. That is like
God,
such a like
say-
culty as fuck, weird, right? The energy, like,
Mhm.
oh, these children singing and Joe Jonas leading us all in a line dance to heaven.
yeah, it felt
And
weird.
that's the thing,
But-
though. Like,
That's the point. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, because I mean, like we talked about earlier, like if Christianity is your jam,
Yeah.
great. But I think everybody can agree that there are cults that exist within the framework of Christianity,
Mhm.
you know, and I think that is something that they kind of poke fun of during this season quite a bit.
Oh, definitely.
One thing I do want to talk about, because you mentioned the children, and I wanted to talk about the Lisson's orphanage that they ran,
Yes.
and then that my ADHD brain took me to.
Child
God, what's his
trafficking.
name? Jason Schwartz's character.
Yes.
Yeah.
The reporter.
Thaniel.
Daniel Block.
Thaniel.
Yes.
Wait,
He
quick
had
question.
a lot to say about tea he had on various pastors,
Yes.
including the
Yeah.
Listens. And I don't think he was just talking about the ninja bicycle gang when he said, "Shall I write an article about
Relationship.
your relationship with those boys?"
Yeah.
Yo, it's a little bit of trafficking. It's a little bit of trafficking and abuse and all the fun stuff. Oh,
And ninja gangs, ninja
And
cycle
car-
gangs.
But
pranks.
with that said, my thought was if he used something extreme as that as a backup to whatever it is he wanted on the gemstones, especially Amy Lee, I want to know. I want to know what he might have, because the thing about whatever it is he has on Eli, I just think whatever it is we saw in this season, not juicy enough, especially if Amy Lee is involved. And the impression I get of Amy Lee through both the first and second season is she is very genuine in her faith.
Yeah.
At the very least, she's very genuine in her faith. Not saying she doesn't partake in the more corrupt practices that oftentimes come with the territory of heading up a mega church, you know, but
maybe it's about class, right? Like we said, it was from the help, and maybe she was just like a horrible microaggression slinging rich bitch. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's, but she didn't seem to, it was the biggest twist, right? Like that was probably one of the biggest twists of the season.
Yeah, I was like, what did Amy Lee do?
What could our perfect baby
Right.
Lee?
And if it was just, you know, being a snarky bitch to your employees, I still think, like Alicia said, that the Lisson's inappropriate relationship with orphans would be a bigger story.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
if that is the blackmail to get to this other huge thing, it's
worth it.
going to be bad.
Can we just, speaking of blackmail, can we just quickly talk about the like opening episode with Mr. Butterfield? Was it Butterfield?
Yeah,
The
when
Butterfield
he throws himself.
He threw himself off a second-story balcony.
Oh my god, that's right. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
His
god.
legs-
God.
So he and his wife.
Him
so
and
he's
his
a-
wife had a snack.
he and his wife had a threesome that they recorded, and it got out, which is insane. And
We
then he's
didn't
like,
know it was Molly. Okay.
Sure, you did it.
That's what they
And
all say.
That's exactly what they say. And then he's like, I'm just gonna kill myself. And I honestly like thought it was gonna happen. And then I remembered what show I was watching.
Mhm.
And when his legs are just sprawled in different directions.
God.
It's
Well,
like
first he runs down that hallway screaming
Yeah.
Very dramatically.
very dramatically and then falls off a second story.
And then he doesn't die, he just breaks everything. Dumb idiot.
Can we
God.
talk
Totally
about how
impossible, like
that's
The
the
Incredibles.
closest to that is the closest to live action Family Guy we are going to get. The way he landed
It's true. It's true.
with his leg just twisted the wrong way.
It's actually like then you have the complete parallel, right, to Gideon going through the window at the end of the season and
Yeah.
his job. Yeah,
that's
his
true.
jump to faith in this situation. Like he jumps out to his job, and then you actually have his parents accepting him? Question mark for what he's doing.
one
with his life?
really
Question
love
mark?
The
Gideon's
one
character.
thing I will say,
Gideon.
that comes to the top of my mind, unless something pops up later, the one thing I will say that Danny McBride did not do perfectly this season was Gideon was such a crucial part of season 1. And then it's like
Sidelined.
season 2, they didn't know what to do with him. However, I think it was like episode 5 or 6 when he chases down those 2 bicycle ninja guys, and that was
Yes.
so
Yeah.
badass. It's like, yes,
Actually,
Gideon's back.
I'm glad you brought that up because that reminds me of when we first get the opening scenes of Eli in the flashback, and he's riding a motorcycle.
Yep.
Oh.
It's literally
As a Maniac Kid.
parallel. Yes.
It's
yes.
parallel. There's a lot of parallels between Gideon and Eli.
He's
so
the
I feel like
heir.
Eli's
heir.
the actual heir to the gemstone.
Yeah, Gideon is gonna be.
It's gonna
Eli
be Gideon.
Jr.
It makes
Which
sense.
would
He has
be
like
ironic because one of the reasons he wanted to move out and go to Georgia is because he felt like at the church he was living an inauthentic life.
yep.
And he's gonna have to
Yeah.
face whether he wants it. What if he's the one to end the empire? Maybe he says
Ooh.
it's over. Maybe he gives it to the people instead. I don't know, but it does because we know that an heir that doesn't want to actually an ineffective ruler sometimes comes by being somebody that doesn't want to rule, right? Like Robert
Yeah.
Baratheon, not great. The people say, not bad, but not great,
Not
great,
good.
not
Yeah.
good, Bob.
Very
Okay.
mid. Very mid.
Yeah, mids. And so that's also a big choice for him lifestyle wise. All of us who have chosen being raised all of us were raised except for Ara, who actually had choice and whatever ish. You had 2 choices. Okay. Don't
Yeah.
get too excited. Big for your britches.
3
Sorry,
Jedi.
3 choices. My God. For those of us, except for Ara, covering Ara on my screen so I don't see her, those of us that made that choice to between am I going to live a life and be a religious person and go to church on Sundays and have this be my community, have this be my people? That is the question, right? He sees that he doesn't fit in with these people. He's enjoying it. He's having a good time. He was good at it. We see him excelling early in the season at working the behind the scenes stuff, doing the streaming on GODD, as we're going to do. We see him doing a good job at that. And it's he is good at it. He's very naturally good at it. He has a great charisma and charm. I think that, and I wondered too, he was in Licorice Pizza, and I think maybe some of the filming took place. Maybe his schedule was unavailable
Yeah.
this season, I think.
Plus COVID.
COVID, yeah. So I think that has a part of it. But I think that they made his plot, I was complaining, why is Gideon sidelined? But I think
Where's
his
my
plot was
son?
effective, right? It was so effective. And he looks really cute in Licorice Pizza. So I recommend you watch it for that alone. He has long hair. I'm like, Gideon, baby, what you doing?
Actually, speaking of Gideon's and long hair, isn't the reporter Gideon from Scott Pilgrim?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
I
Yes.
knew it.
Sportsman, yes.
The whole time I was like, your face is missing things on it, and it's the glasses and the
Wait. You don't know who Jason Schwartz is?
Apparently.
Apparently, I know him as Gideon from Scott Pilgrim. So
He's in a few things, but one of my favorite roles that he plays,
I'm
and I
just one of those
believe it's
people.
him, unless it's a brother or a cousin. He plays King Louis in Marie Antoinette by Sophia
Mhm.
Copland.
Yep.
Coppola.
Coppola.
Yep.
Yep.
Coppola. Thank you. He plays.
That's on Girl Power. Sorry. Also did Virgin
No, I
Suicide.
believe he's actually related to, I forget his name. He's related to a couple people in Hollywood, but I think one of them is actually he played an American Pie.
No, he's related to the Coppolas.
Okay.
Roman.
Oh,
So Nicolas
Really?
Cage is related to the Coppolas, if you didn't
I
know.
didn't know that.
That's
I
why
didn't know
he's-
that.
Okay, so here's something we have to break down real quick. They're all related, you guys, because they're famous, because it's royalty and it never left, first of all. Okay, anyways, so second of all, he's related to the Coppolas, like Mark, Italia, Roman, Nicolas Cage, Christopher Coppola. He's related to all of them, Francis, Sophia, etc. So they are his cousins. He's a cousin of them. However, you probably know him if you watched Rushmore from the 90s,
Yep.
Moonrise Kingdom, right? We talked
Yep.
about Scott Pilgrim. He's in everything. He's in Fargo, he's in Wet Hot American Summer. 10 years later, the decade. Yep, he's
Oh,
Greg.
yeah.
He's Greg in 4 of 5, like probably 7 of the episodes or some crap. He was in the actual TV miniseries too, the original as Greg. He's
And
like in
Bored to
everything.
Death. He's
Yeah.
in
He
Bored to
really
Death, which
excels
is
at
on
quirky
HBO.
humor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in
Yeah.
everything. Fantastic Mr. Fox. I mean, like, you know, name it. He's been in a lot of good stuff. So
Do you like just know his IMDb off the top of your head, or like?
No, that one is like I love Jason Schwartzman, dude.
Okay.
I
So
love
does
him
Wes
so
Anderson,
much.
apparently.
Yeah,
Wes
I
Anderson
also-
just loves him.
Well, again, because he's
Are you Wes
connected with-
Anderson? Are you
He's
related
connected
to
with the
Wes Anderson?
Coppolas, bro. He's a Coppola. They're all related.
They're all related.
But okay, that speaking of Jason Schwartz or Schwartzman?
Man.
I think there is a
Schwartzman.
Schwartz, right? And he's different.
Yes, it's a different one.
That's confusing.
The fact,
but
the
yes.
plot twist that reporter shot himself.
Yes. Oh my
that
god.
was so
Idiot.
good.
Oh.
It was so good though. And then like I love that we didn't get that reveal to the very last episode, because when we
Yeah.
like get that, because I remember watching that scene, I was like, how the hell did that person end up in a tree and like
yeah.
body parts here and there? I'm like, what?
That's like my favorite part of Danny McBride's storytelling is how obvious some of the things are. And when he puts twists in, like you're like expecting them because you know that's what he does. But then that he gets to the point that you think you already know, and then he retells it to you. He's like, yeah, you thought this is what happened, and it is, but it's better. And he like kicks your ass about it, right? Because he unraveled everything that happened at the front of the season right there and then. And those idiots, their fucking fall in that blood was too much. They are so stupid.
So good.
They're so lucky Eric Andre burned that crap down. They're so
I
lucky.
feel like they had different energies, but I was glad I found, because in season 1, when they meet Gideon and his friends in the parking lot in the masks. They back up and run over that one chick on foot. I still laugh every time. I was like,
rooting
okay,
for
how are
them
they
to
going
do
to
it.
that? The Tesla slipping in the blood, not being able to close the door, the bodies that they found, all that other stuff. Like, it was a completely different energy, but it was just as good as that parking lot scene.
Yeah.
In season 1. So I feel
Yeah.
like Danny McBride's whole shtick, and he's got a lot of shticks, is he's always going to open the season in this really hilarious but macabre, surreal.
Oh yeah, like the
sort of
wave
like-
pool throwing everyone around when they're trying to get baptized.
That was so good. That was so good. That was so
The
good.
parallels. Get in the water. Keep walking till that water slams your dick around. That was the funniest fucking line. I don't think I paid attention to that line until I rewatched it, because I was rewatching this week, obviously, like we all were. I was doing a
Yeah.
good strong 2 or 3 a day. Once I hit Wednesday, I was like, oh shit, this is like this weekend. I was like, I guess I better rewatch it for the 8th time.
Why are you
And-
me?
Right? I'm like,
yesterday and today.
yeah, impressive. And I managed to watch Bridgerton season 2 and 4 episodes of Degrassi season 1. Boom.
Oh.
I'm kicking ass, and it's my own ass, everyone.
I watched it.
How fast did we get through? How fast did we get through season 3 of Ozark? It was like 2 days, right?
There you go.
She told me to watch
so
Ozark.
I told
and I've been
Mandy,
watching
you need
it.
to watch Ozark, and then I
no.
blinked and they were
It's
3
on my
seasons
list,
in, and I was like,
so-
okay.
Yeah, and we
So
just started season 4.
Oh no, I
That's
might
nice.
have
Wow.
to
How many
do
seasons
this
are there?
now. 4, 5, 6. How many?
4.
But I mean, can
Sure.
we, now that we're talking talking about the walking into the water until it slams your dick or whatever. I want to, because Mandy and I were laughing our asses off about how Jesse just walked up to his family. He's like, "Hello, I just killed somebody. Please come with me."
Hi, hello.
Whatever it was.
Well, like
Classic.
normal.
And he's got
You would
him
prefer
just,
that.
And then
covered with
everything about
random
that
beach
scene, they go out
debris.
there.
I love that they weren't like even upset or like
They go out
like
there.
they just were
Not
like,
at all.
okay, I guess we're following him now. God damn it, Jesse.
Yeah,
Just
that
another
slingshot.
Tuesday to the Gemstones, but they go out there and he
Yeah.
covered his body in like beach debris, and they're like, "Why did you do that?"
Palm
He's like, "I don't know, I
fronds.
panicked." So when he comes to and he starts like, he just punches BJ in the face because BJ's there. Poor BJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he gets
But
shot.
the way BJ ended up getting shot, the way he ended up
It's so
being shot,
sad.
because they were arguing about privilege. And then BJ went to stand
You're
up for
privileged.
Judy.
You're
He's like,
privileged.
"You're the most
You're
privileged." And
Alicia.
he gets shot. He gets shot. And he finally became one of the family because Eli and Jesse were not there for it. Like, how dare you? He is part of this family. And she must have nicked an artery or something.
Bleeding
Because
The
it was
way it
total
was
Danny
squirting
McBride
out.
humor.
It was so hilarious.
So
I was like,
gross.
this shouldn't be funny.
It's just-
You're speaking of this really
BJ
loosely, but Ara and I lost a lot that night. So I feel like
Yes,
everybody
that's
should
when-
scale it back. That's the same night as the Euphoria season finale.
Our
Like
baby
everybody's just
Ashtray.
talking about all of our favorite men getting shot over and
That's so
over again.
sad.
TV's really hard.
You
I'm
tweeted
gonna
about
say
that, and I
right
had to
now,
watch these the next
I
day.
muted most words that I thought were associated with Euphoria. I did not.
I could
think
help you
I
if you
already
need
knew
more.
that.
If you need more, I'll help you. I can tell you what to mute.
I was not expecting that ashtray
My
was
bad.
a word that I had to mute. So I got to see all about the Euphoria finale because apparently
Well,
there's a
they
character
they
named
shooting
Ashtray.
our
That was our
gingers,
baby.
man. They were shooting our gingers that night on HBO.max.com. Okay, it was very bad.
They
When
just
BJ
don't
got
like
shot,
gingers.
I was
That was
really.
gonna
I
be
feel like it
Gideon.
was so unfair.
You know.
Maybe it should have been. It could have been fun.
And didn't
HBO knows
BJ
what
get
they're
like
doing.
Butters?
Yeah, he's Butters. He's
He got
definitely-
butters
No, I was
with,
gonna say he
with
got-
the ninja
He got
star.
buzzed with a ninja star.
Oh, Ninja
Yeah.
Star,
that's
yeah.
That was
I
not
was
addressed.
surprised
They
we
were
didn't
just
get
like,
him recovering
HBO.
from that.
HBO
Yeah.
always knows what they're doing because if you remember Tywin Lannister, the
Oh
night
my
his
God.
death aired was on Father's Day, and the bells on
Yes.
Game of Thrones was on Mother's
Mother's
Day.
Day.
Mother's
They know what
Day.
they're doing every single time.
HBO was like, gingers, we're gonna shoot them on
Yep.
site. On
They
This
site.
don't like
episode
gingers,
this week.
sorry.
Oh yeah. But actually, can we like talk about that hospital sequence? So like after Eli got shot, but like
Yeah.
that standoff. Jesse's such an idiot. When he like
He
gets
is.
rid of all the security right before they need them, I'm like,
He's like, I hate that military sense of humor.
Oh.
And what's
did the
funny
speech
about
before.
it is that's exactly what Gideon ended up doing. The thing they were laughing about, sticking the
Mhm.
little shocker
The cow
into
prod.
the
Spokes.
bike wheel. Yep,
Yep.
that's exactly. But he like basically fired everybody, so it was just him, Martin, BJ, and Gideon.
What was BJ's code name? Dr.
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 BJ Barnes.
No, but he called him like
Oh,
Dr.
he had no
Dipshit or
Dr.
something.
Dipshit. Dr. Dipshit.
Dipwad.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
called him a
Dipwad.
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 He was
But no, the
great.
way
He uses
BJ
the
went to
name to
distract
save
them, and he's like,
Jesse.
"Hey!" and then went.
And then he's like,
I still,
And then he
my
uses
second
Dr.
watch through,
Dipwad
I
to
was
page
like, what was
Jesse.
the point of that? It doesn't matter. It's BJ.
oh,
oh, he's so
Hey,
great.
good job. Hey, paging. I was really just glad he could figure out how to page because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is fucked. This is fucked. Of
Very
course, you guys are busy having a moment instead of checking the restaurant
Security cameras.
or the
Because he's a
security.
giant science
buzzer.
nerd.
The Chili's
BJ's
buzzer.
a not science
Yeah,
nerd,
thank
so of
you.
course he
Right,
can
that's
figure
what I
out how to
thought.
page. Yeah.
Baby back ribs, barbecue sauce.
I also loved the
But
scene
yeah,
where
the
they're all
ninja
projectile
star.
vomiting.
Yes, that was
Yes.
a favorite.
Why does
Nim's
fucking
favorite.
Jesse,
Nim's
like-
favorite is that.
It is my favorite. I texted Alicia after I watched it and I said, okay, if you haven't watched the episode yet, you have to just pause it like when the opening credits go, and call me because I have to. And she ended up just FaceTiming me while she watched it, and we laughed hysterically through the whole thing. And we still, all the time, we just go, BJ!
It's too relatable. I'm a puke upon puker. Like if I smell
Me
it,
too.
see it, I will puke.
Same.
The look Amber got on her face that she was like, oh no, it's coming for me. I was like, oh, I feel that.
See, I worked too many years in group homes, so bodily fluids just don't stir my stomach except for snot. It's really odd. I can do gore,
Snot's mine too.
Poop, vomit, all that stuff. I got too many kids anyway, but I have been there quite a few times when someone throws up. And then the other person is like, no. And, it gets, as that person that doesn't get nauseated by it. So I have a very antagonistic sense of humor where I've learned to grow up is sometimes, I've realized sometimes you're just being an asshole, But I have in the past been that person when I know someone else is about to throw up as a reaction, being like, don't do it. Don't do it. But you could tell, because from what I saw in the bloopers, they had hose connected to their shoulders, at a certain angle, and they just kind of edited it out. But I mean, I think even the idea of it, because there are some people out there that so much as hear you go, and they're like, like some of the nauseated faces they were making, you could tell were kind of genuine.
Which sells it. That sells it.
I mean, just even with the props itself, just seeing that much just fake throw up all at
on
once,
their shoes, chunks,
on the ground,
all that other stuff. It
Why
reminded
did
me
Jesse
of
wipe
Family
his
Guy.
face? He splashed his vomit back into his face. What are you doing?
There's something about this season where Danny McBride took a lot more liberties with his guy gross sense of humor than last season. The vomit scene, the toilet baby scene, and then there was one more that I was
jumping off the balcony.
Lionel puke too. Lionel pukes on Tiffany too, right in the face at the end.
That's right. Here, let me get that off for you.
And the dick humor. Let's be real. All the dicks we saw this season, that's total Danny McBride classic humor. I mean, that's his soul.
That was okay. Even I laughed though when Keith went to put
the eyeball. I mean, I can't stop thinking about it. Every time I'm like, well, oh God.
In season 1, when they're watching the video on his little home theater down in the basement, he pauses it with Chad's dick right on the screen.
That's right.
As his kids go running out.
I have to say, at least Chad and Mandy got back together, even though Chet and Megan never will. No. Poor Chet and Megan. I thought Megan. Did you guys ever watch Last Man on Earth on FX? No. Okay, you got it. It's really good. There's a character on there that I think it was that actress, but she's not credited anywhere for it. I keep looking and I can't find her accreditation, but I loved that. I love that Lyle's friends, to the name, he had friends that were just parallel to Jesse's friends, showing this is a bad version of you, Jesse. This is who you'll become. If your father just handed you everything, Jesse, this is who you'd be.
Yeah. I mean, we saw how he was
of Jesse's friends. Can we talk about the meetings that they were having at the VFW? There were so many things to touch on. I don't know why, but it tickled me when he said we're going to Memphis, and he was like, Tennessee, and he's like, what other fucking Memphis is there? He's like, Egypt. I don't know why that tickled me so much, but when they did the whole Goliath thing, I believe it was Matthew said something.
Matthew, yep.
And then Jesse brings it up at the later meeting, well, you said you were gonna bleepity bleep bleep. Real nice, right?
Levi appreciation hour, first of all. Also, Levi and his mom, the slings. Between the slings, it's the equivalent, right? Them slinging the slings in the air is the equivalent to the fucking muscle men being
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Loved it.
Oh man. That was so
Can
good.
we talk about
When
though
there's,
how
like-
it turned out BJ was kind of the real manly man
Yeah.
Oh,
this whole
yeah.
season?
BJ
Yeah.
is like
I know,
woke
but
as
he was
shit.
He always had
BJ
to
He
be.
was
is
like a
like,
gender
I
fluid
respect
king there for
everything.
a minute.
Yeah.
He was like, I
He
don't
really
think
does.
I
Went
need to be
through it.
a man or a woman. I'm just a person. I was like, yeah.
He's definitely a
Okay,
he
we love
they.
that for
It's
you.
he they.
Yes.
It's he they.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect that.
BJ went through
love
it. He
it.
got spanked by Uncle Baby Billy.
Yep.
He got ninja
Sounds kinda
starred
fun.
in the head.
Yeah.
He got
And
ninja
shot.
starred in the head. He got shot. He got punched in the face by Lyle right before
He shook Eli's hand.
Yep.
He had a mental
Was
breakdown at his
was
baptism.
it on his nose? Was it the nose that got hit when he got punched? Because again,
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
foreshadowing.
After he had his nose job.
Um,
yeah.
Also, his cake. His cake.
When he
getting
throws the
hit,
cake-
that was the
Oh.
foreshadowing for the bullet, right? Because his
He just
cake got taken the bite out of the hand out of.
I am a gemstone.
he just reaches into the cake. Oh.
He went
And
to
also
throw it
shake
at
the
his
cake.
I just want to say I felt Eli though when he's like, "You kids are so embarrassing," and Jesse's like, "But what did I do?"
What the fuck did I do?
I was like, "Jesse, why are you me?" Because that's exactly what I would say. I'd be like, well, "I didn't even do anything. Why are you yelling at me?" Like,
right. What did I do?
oh
No,
my
it was
God.
a very, very good season. Usually, I'm not fond of second seasons. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but it's always
it's
season
that
two that I'm
sophomore
like meh
slump.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just really good, and I like the way, like Chloe pointed out, Danny McBride has very good pacing, so it kind of, piqued your interest for season 3 back at the beginning of season 2, and you didn't even really know it till the end of season 2. And I think, like, I don't know, I haven't really seen writing like that since Hear Me Out, okay, since Lost, before those last few episodes. Lost was one of those shows for a long time that had really good pacing, and they definitely knew where they were going with it toward the end at the beginning. And what's refreshing is you don't typically see that with comedies at all.
Yeah.
Where they have a good idea what the end game is at the beginning, because with comedies it's usually like, okay, well,
They're
how long
going
can
for
we
the
beat this
joke.
horse? Yeah. How long
Exactly.
can we beat this horse?
Yeah.
So,
I apparently agreed to watch Lost in a Benadryl-induced stupor, and so I can't speak
You
on
don't have
anything
to.
she has to say right now. But I'll get back to you on that one.
she was
HBO
high on
does a good job
Benadryl, and
with
I
their
was giving
comedy.
her
I was
Lost
high on
spoilers.
Benadryl.
Yeah,
I don't
the only
remember
thing
any of
she
them.
retained is a tan Ian Somerhalder. That's the only thing she retained of all the
That was
spoilers
what I
I gave her.
Because I
I told
googled
her what the
it.
smoke monster
I googled it, and it
was.
was in my searches. I was like, "Oh, he looks much better with a tan."
Oh my goodness.
He's so
But
pasty in Vampire
this-
Diaries.
Is this
Yeah,
a good
he
time to
is.
talk about season 3 and season
Yeah.
3 predictions?
Yeah. Let's jump into season 3 because all right. I just want to throw this out there. I know we talked about it earlier. That Zion's Landing is going to be a hot mess.
A problem.
With that being said, I don't even think they're going to be able to actually open it. Like, I think before they even finish construction, there's going to be problems. Like, I don't think it's kind of like how they have that theme park that never really got opened.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, just like a failed
You guys
project.
remember
Yeah.
DJ and the rollerblading montage?
I called out Dr.
That's right,
Gemstone,
that's right.
Daddy. That was the best. The split screen where he says Daddy versus Dr. BJ. Funny.
Cute, though. It was so cute.
I do think it was open though, or they were trying to open it, and I feel like Amy's death is what actually really put that one off track. I feel like they were
Mhm.
working on it, and then she died. Is kind of how it seems, because like they really haven't said anything, but they keep showing it, and it's like it's updated, right? Like so, it's at least like a decade's worth of updated because you have all the figures of the kids that are like literally they
Right.
look like them. So timeline wise, it has to have been like we tried and then we decided not to. It's weird. I
Oh.
want an answer in season 3. I want more of that.
Actually, since you mentioned that with it was like Granddaddy Roy shooting Junior's dad, and he's just like buried under the roller coaster.
Under
Yeah,
the
they were
Exodus?
making it even then. Yeah.
What was he
Wow.
said? We going hot
94.
inside.
Right? Like that was like 1994 or
So
something.
Yeah.
maybe them putting him down below maybe they were just afraid like the construction workers would find the body.
Maybe they just
Ooh.
maybe that's why he stopped. But like why is it updated though? Like that's still the question
Right.
because you have full ass like scale model of Judy and her little like, outfit,
Mhm.
her like little
I love
leotard, like updated though to like at least within the last decade of what she looks like. So
Right.
it's like why it means to me like it had to have closed. Like they opened it eventually and then it closed. But it seems like maybe it could be just for like the congregation use also. Or
Mhm.
maybe like for limited use, like they only open it for special occasions, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, because it seems like it's on the compound, so like
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you get to be on the
Yeah,
list.
because when BJ gets tased, he's just hopped over the fence.
Yeah.
He's got his little song playing,
And you have his like
foaming at the mouth,
boombox,
and
yeah.
being tased. Yeah.
Well, and in season 1 also you have the Amy Lee and him looking at all the land and him
Mhm.
saying maybe we could have a theme park.
Yeah.
So I mean that's like a dream that he had even with or without her. So I don't know. That's weird. I hope we get more on the theme park and I hope we get more of that. But like that's a worry. Zion's Landing. I think that this is the launch of it. What just happened was like the launch party, right? So
Right.
like so it is
I thought it was
opening.
like
I
a
think it's their ruin
breaking
right
ground.
here. I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like it's like going to be in full service when we start the season. You know what I mean? I
so
think
too.
that's
Yeah.
going to be a big White Lotus point of contention, right? We're going to have some death at White Lotus next season. I think like that's the problem. I really think time's going to be up, kiddos. Like some shit's going to happen for the Gemstones because
yeah.
they're gliding on like a lot right now. And now you've just like, now the Butterfields disappeared obviously from their drama. Now you have the Lissons, the next big name from the West Coast, have just left. And the Gemstones suddenly have all this more land and asset. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
God's
like-
going to strike you down.
And I feel like somebody's probably going to go looking for the Listens, and when they find, can't believe we forgot to talk about this, the Jack Torrance homage with
Yeah.
Eric Andre's death, and he's just frozen there. It was so
It was
so
good.
good.
You can tell he's probably a big
So
fan of The
good.
Shining.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
But that
I will. There's a lot of that, of like total Shining shit in there.
Mhm.
And I also have to say, like, that's what you get when you start posting about NFTs every day. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
But just kidding. That's topical humor. Eric Andre.
you get eaten by wolves when you're frozen. But the way his wife died was hilarious.
That
though.
was one thing that they did wonderfully with those last few moments of season 2. I was so unsettled by the credits. Just screen goes black, and for a good 30 seconds, you hear wolves tearing flesh apart, and that's all you hear. And you're just like, interesting. So obviously, I think that's like
Connecting
symbolic
those
for next
dots of
season.
like earlier of him, having special relationships with those children and the children choosing not to kill him because they knew he would die in the environment one way or another. Powerful for them. Good for you kids.
Yeah.
But also like,
The evidence is gone.
It was
the wolves.
it
ate
was
them.
funny to me
No,
but the wife.
when he tried
Wife.
to imitate that Western they were watching.
Oh my god! Why would
Something
you
out
think
of
that's
the
a
chest,
good
and she's just like,
Yeah.
Oh my god!
But no, there was something that they said, and I think it's like the former conservative Christian in me that got triggered when, they're horrible people. They're about to get gunned down. And as they're like loading up all their guns, they look at each other and that's the thing. Like they genuinely believe that they are God's chosen. That's the part where I was like, oh, baby. Oh,
bad
honey.
news. God chose for this land to be harsh.
Yeah,
You
it's like
know.
you didn't. You really didn't internalize anything, huh?
No, really not. But
They
it's
were like-
And just how it's like going with the while the Gemstones are having that like big family like sing along at the same time.
Yeah,
That
it was
was
so
wonderful.
unnerving. It was great. And also, then you think about, then you have that, like we talked about earlier, that scene of Keef and Kelvin with the youth squad now, and them like inheriting the youth squad, which is like, okay, so you guys just inherited all of their problems along with their wealth and investments. Like, yeah, you took their investments and you might make some money off that, and like that furthers your empire, but you also just inherited all of the problems. And those problems come from capitalism and religion being hand in hand. There's no separation of church and state here. Just like what fucking Junior's dad said to him, what Glendon said. Well, you don't know where every dollar in that basket comes from every week. Exactly. And, you know, if God's will is to take that money, whatever that means, right? Okay, whatever the fuck that means. But that I feel is like a big, I don't know, it feels like a big cautionary tale, and I think they're gonna be under the fire next season. I think the Gemstones are gonna be under public fire. I think they evaded it by accident for so long. By the end of series 3, we're gonna have some like House Roy and the fucking news shit going on, some Succession shit going on.
And I think we got to
There's
sneak
way
peek
too much going
into
on.
we got to sneak peek into how they actually don't know what they're doing with a lot of stuff, because I think like I kind of wonder if Martin is going to be incapacitated in some way, whether he gets sick or he has a falling out with them, because Martin's always just kind of been in charge of their finances, which is which is how they've avoided having to like, because Zion's Landing, they're not going to know what they're doing with that, which is where you're going to get a lot of those mess ups. Kelvin and Keef have already kind of shown like they don't actually know what they're doing with those kids, and even though they're, you know, it gave you a huge comedic yet dark sneak peek into it. I think with the whole like, we're going to take them to the desert of Israel, you know, without permission slips, and they don't actually know what they're doing with kids, you know, and like, as someone, I mean, most people know who might be watching this, like, I work at a school, and when you work with kids, you have to view everything as a liability for their safety, to cover your butt, you know, to kind of just, so I mean, that's something that even though Kelvin is a youth pastor, I think he's going to find himself in a lot of situations where he does not understand the liabilities that go in with working with actual children. And that's how he's going to get himself into hot water quite a bit.
I'm impressed that Keef is thinking about it, though. I'm like, Keef's the one here who's thinking about, like, you gotta get permission slips first.
But Keef is just gonna follow whatever it is that Kelvin does.
He's a supportive wife. He's a supportive wife. Somebody said that earlier, and I have to agree.
One of my favorite moments is when they're walking into Kevin's, like him toward the end of the season. Jason's is the
breakfast or the diner.
Yes. And so Kelvin goes to give Keith nuts, and I think Keith goes to like put his hand on his, like they're together, and he's like, I'm sorry, but that was like one of my favorite moments.
Oh, actually, speaking of favorite moments, I meant to bring it up earlier. Speaking of Kelvin, my favorite moment is right before, like, so you know how Jesse and Amber get in the ride that was intended for Eli that gets shot up and stuff like that. But when he's talking, when they're like stopped at the gas station, he's like, she's like, oh, I didn't know Eli had that in him, like that brutality. And he's like, yeah, Daddy's a real monster when you know that side of him. He's like, Kelvin fucked around and found out. I was like, I love that. I loved it. Because I was like, yeah, Kelvin definitely fucked around and found out. And that's such an older sibling thing to say about your younger sibling. Like, oh, they underestimated like, you dummy. How did you underestimate Dad? Like,
I love that. And I love when Jesse says to Judy, I will admit, Judy, your powers are growing.
Yes,
they are growing.
Yes.
That I was like losing my mind.
That whole scene with the siblings on the couch, and Kelvin is like, almost in tears because now he thinks that he might be the devil. And he starts using that deep, gravelly voice. And Judy's just like laughing it off, and she's like, and my new boy's he's gonna eat my ass too, right? Kelvin's having an existential crisis, and she's worried about that.
Getting her ass eat.
I love
Good for her. Good for her because
The
she's
whole
worried about her
dynamic
bag
between
and her
them.
bag full. Okay.
The whole dynamic between them is so perfect. It's
I do
so
love
antagonistic. but
That
it's
and the
so
snow
perfect.
cone, right? When Kelvin's like, all right, we'll get you a snow cone. Okay. No, he's Felicia.
I do love that scene at Jason's. It was the 1 week where Eli wasn't there because he was in the hospital. And Amber said something like, sometimes I feel like I'm the only one around here that knows how to fill a power vacuum. And yeah. Judy says something about flinging cream corn on Amber. But it was right before that when Kelvin shows up in that cape.
Yes, the cape. Looking like a medieval little fucker. Oh my god.
I love
that
him.
and Amber's
And
hand.
he's like, I can't show myself to daddy like this. And he's like,
That is so
Oh,
good.
with the smoothie.
thumbs.
I thought
Oh,
it was like the smoothie.
It's a horrible idea.
Oh, and just when Kelvin goes to say goodbye to the youth group and gives that new weird youth pastor the keys, basically, and he's got that hair with that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
The devil lock. The
Forehead.
devil lock.
Oh my gosh.
God, he was down so bad.
I love that. Oh,
I hope Dot comes back. Speaking of season 3, I miss Dot. I liked her. I thought like she could make a great trio member for him and Queef.
Dot was the young girl that
The
like her
young
dad
girl.
wanted her to like
Youth group.
get
Yeah.
saved.
Did she get a
again.
different job? She's at that age
Heart
where she might be trying to
mindful
get
of
different
fuck
roles.
you, heart full of murder. The song that her boyfriend's car played. We sing
my
that all the
gosh.
time here. It's just that is the best lyric. Heart full of fuck you, mind full of murder, or whatever it is. It's so beautiful.
I just remembered the condom scene.
He
Oh my
left
God,
them, dude. He
just
left
over
them.
him.
So, like, he was like, I'm done being youth minister. I have bigger and better, different things to move on to. He left them.
Yep.
And then he, I guess, is returning. Is that going to be like a point of contention, like the new youth group and the previous youth group, the orphans and the
Ooh.
That could be a good
children of
war.
parents, especially
would
the
love
children
that.
of the rich parents.
Yeah, because
Little gang- maybe they'll have gang wars like within the church.
Can they?
You know what
I
I
would
just
love that
realized?
actually.
If they're orphans, they don't need permission slips.
I was wondering that. I was like, who the fuck is going to
Oh,
sign these?
that's
Who's
the
signing
joke,
these?
you guys. That's the fucking joke.
It took us what, like
Oh.
an hour and
I was
51
wondering.
minutes?
I've watched that episode 7 times. The holy number.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Blessed
I didn't
be.
even think of that.
Children of parents. I think we'll see more of baby Billy maybe and like his family. I wonder if Macaulay Culkin's going to come back. That's what I'm
I
curious
hope
about.
so.
He's
I
been
hope
expensive.
One
Is
episode.
Joe Jonas
maybe.
going to come back also?
I think
Another
we'll see
question.
Macaulay for one episode, maybe. I think he'll be like a guest thing again because he is expensive and also he doesn't like doing things. But he
just
has
like
a
some things,
friendship
but they're always
with them.
interesting, hilarious, like
Niche
you know,
and weird
things.
shit. Yeah.
Actually, I was gonna
Um,
say, when this past season of American Horror Story.
Mhm.
So the first half of the season, minus the last 20 minutes of the finale, but Macaulay Culkin's character was dead by then, so it didn't matter.
Mm.
His character was so good. Essentially, he plays like a artist that's a drug addict that ends up taking this like weird drug that turns him into this like vampire-y type thing. But then he becomes like rich and shit, and he dies. But that's very, very short answer. But he does a really good job. Him and Sarah Paulson, they have a lot of screen time together, and it's awesome. So yeah, that's all I had to say about that. Like, that's all I had to say
The
about
show
that.
just
Macaulay
seems
Culkin.
too scary for me. So
It's campy. It's very campy.
Yeah.
More so than
It's-
scary at this point.
Yeah. At this point, it there was a few points in like the very, very, very early days where they were going for like the big scary shock moments. But yeah, it's more like she said, campy at this point.
Yeah.
It's good though.
Yeah. Not as campy as BJ, but yeah.
Should we talk about our favorite moments in season 2?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you guys first, though.
Yes.
All right. Sassy on a Sunday, misbehaving, or the Caterpillars. Pick one.
Oh, Caterpillars.
It's hard.
Caterpillars all day.
Hard. That's so hard.
I think Misbehavin' like has its charm. It's like it's a song that really gets stuck in my head, but like there's something real special about the caterpillar.
Caterpillars for
That one's
content.
different.
For content,
Yes.
yeah. Just because it's the most like weird. Again, it goes right back to her bathroom talk. The weirdest, most Christian, fucked up, based shit of like, now you have to reject your whole family and be with me forever and forget everything about yourself. Screw your identity and suck my clit. Like that's really the song. I don't.
Oh my god.
She did that. Drop your mixtape, Judy Gemstone.
I love at the beginning of the season when she was like, I just opened my mouth and God came out, Daddy.
Oh god, she's so good.
She is.
So good.
I was gonna say, so speaking of, since you brought up the songs, I'd say that whole baptism sequence, that whole baptism episode as a whole is my entire favorite moment. Like I couldn't pick a favorite moment specifically just because I love that entire episode. It's just so funny. Like every little scene, it's just great. Like I love when we get, the Uncle Baby Billy song in the beginning and he talks about his nephew TJ. And then we get the Caterpillar song. And just like when BJ, which is like, oh, make sure you don't dry your hair. That's proof. And people are going to want to see the proof.
Like the bloody sheet from medieval times.
Oh my god.
Love it.
That is what it was.
But like, there's like, just the way she supported BJ and he came on his romper and she's like, you look like a real Christian man. And I just loved it. And when she defended him to his family when they were making fun of him, it was just beautiful.
But she like and I think what's so great, and I think like that episode's also my favorite. My favorite moment from all of season 2 is in that. I think I've already told you. It's when she yells, "Yeah, shake that cake" at BJ. Because I just yell. I love yelling it at home. And again, my partner hates it because I yell it at him. I'm like, "Shake that cake!" He's over it. He's over it. But yeah, and I love because like she's building him up, but also tearing him down at the same time. She's like, "You can't let anyone walk all over you," and she's like walking all over him. And then she's like, his family's only not really making fun of him, but she's like planting all these wedges, and it's just like, as you all said, so chaotic, so good.
It's so good.
I would have to say I have 2 favorite moments. One of them is definitely when Judy goes after Tiffany on that bus. And she says something about missing the pitter patter of Tiffany's dirty feet. I really love that. But the top moment for me was the man boob slap from Keef. Like the entirety of season 2, it was that single slap on the man boob that I was like, yes.
That was the episode that we watched together, right?
Aww.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Because I remember you being on the phone with me while I watched it.
Aww.
Like I said, we're on FaceTime. We're on FaceTime like all day. And we tried like 3 times to get it right on, and we did it, and we watched the whole episode.
We go ready. 1, 2.
That's hard.
That is hard.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love this show. I love this show.
How about you, Mandy?
All together.
What's your? I know you mentioned earlier. Someone mentioned what for you. One of them was the vomiting scene, but
yes, I've even gone back and watched just that, just for Judy yelling at BJ at the very end before it goes to the opening credits. It kills me. And then the other one is definitely Danny McBride and. Hi, hello, I've just killed someone. Will you come with me, please? And he just turns around and walks away. And they're just like, okay. It's that scene in and of itself, standalone, is perfect. Even without context. It's so good.
It's just so great.
It's got to be the Lisson's performance for me, or like that's one of them. That raise your hand. It's so ridiculous. It's too much, and it's like everything you'd want from Eric Andre in a show, right? Like when you see Eric Andre as guesting, that man got his guest spot. He got his back money. He was in there,
and he did it so well.
Yeah, so good.
Effortlessly. It was so good. That was definitely a favorite. Or I have to be the opposite song moment, the Sassy on Sunday montage where you have the girls with Tiffany saying, "Thank you, nieces." Tears rained down at my face. And Eli waking up with Kelvin, and then of course the hospital. I just think like that whole montage was so indicative of the direction and flow of the show. Praise be to he.
I actually really love that scene between Kelvin and Eli.
It was he woke up to him. Good. That was so, because like Kelvin was feeling like, it's weird because people talk about feeling lost in religion, right? Or like God can't see them or Jesus isn't with them and they feel lost. And like Kelvin, as we know, felt lost. He was like, I'm now evil and I'm Satan instead of Jesus. So you have to deal with that now, Keef. And I'm Satan and I'm everything bad with the world and I'm a plague. And then like his father woke up and that's all he actually really wanted, right? The whole time he's just wanted his daddy's approval.
Exactly. And it's the last time they see each other before he gets shot, they leave on such a bad note where he's like, I don't want to talk to you, daddy. Like, you embarrass me in front of my men. Like, it's
I got floors to clean.
The hand pops. Oh my God.
That's the best part though.
Was so like ridiculous.
So while Keith was in the cage.
Dick in the eye. Ow. Every time.
No, one thing that I really love about the Gemstones is they truly care about each other. And I think Danny McBride purposefully wrote it that way so that we can stomach the corruption in their family and the corruption in their church and all that. And it doesn't really negate the corruption as much as it is like, I could watch this.
And for the most part, you feel like they're too dumb to understand or actually feel that the corruption they're doing is corruption.
Yeah, right.
Because you know that they're not like their faith is. They're so dumb.
Which,
their faith is genuine. Like they believe whatever it is they're peddling.
There is a certain amount of that, right, in real life in the church communities of people that are just unfortunately so stupid that they didn't realize what they were doing was actually really illegal and fraudulent usually. And like, so you do have to go, wow. Damn, this is what I mean. I know it's the absolute Danny McBridefication. Yeah, it's the ultimate Danny McBridefication of it all, but also it's like there are people that are like this that you're like, oh wow, God bless you very much.
He summed it all up in a 10-second segment when Jesse tells his siblings, now let's go lie to the church like a fucking family. And Judy goes, let's lie to the church like a fucking family. And,
like a freaking family.
Let's lie to the church like a freaking family. You know, and it's like, they did it so well, but at the same time, it's like, damn, you know there are plenty, not just televangelists, but plenty of church families out there that are like, let's put our game face on. You know, so I mean,
I don't know how many times we were getting ready to go to church. My mother would say something to the effect of, all right, let's go pretend we like each other in front of people.
Aw.
It's like,
sounds
that's
like some church.
I mean, I remember going to church high on Christmas. Amen.
Oh, I made sure to come high to this event too.
I did.
Honestly, that I'm one of those people that goes to church on Easter every 5 years, but like the second to last time I did that, I definitely was like super high. I came to church really stoned, and then
I just feel like it prolong it.
Honestly, because all right, I will say this:
fun
I'm not
that
sure
way.
if anybody else here besides myself has been to black churches. Black churches are an all-day affair, especially on Easter. It's not like, hey, we come in. It's like I have to block out half of my day because
Brazilian churches are actually like that too. It's like when they say church starts at this time, it's more of a suggestion. And I remember when I was living in Brazil, I was so used to, okay, well, church lasts for an hour. and then this is how long the sermon is. This is how long the praise and worship part is. Praise be to He, all that other stuff. But no, Brazilian churches, they go and go and go. And those praise and worship segments, they can go for a good hour and a half until they're done singing their Portuguese version of Lord, I Lift Your Name on High or Prince of Peace. So I mean, it's just I think it's like everyone in the world except for Europeans and people of European descent that just kind of like take church, and it's more like when it ends, it ends. There's a new show, Bust Down.
Yeah, church was anywhere between like 3 and 6 hours. You never really knew. It was just kind of an all day thing because there's stuff to do. You've got like 3 different services and there's like stuff to do in between those services. And so you sit through the same sermon 3 times, but like you have to be there because the church is open. So you have to be there. And then you have to come back that night for the night service. That was like.
I have a question.
No.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just want to point out this comment. If you guys have not seen the show Bust Down, it is so funny. It's on Peacock. But yes, Kiri, that episode's so good. But yeah, no, I definitely recommend Bust Down if you haven't seen it. It's really funny. Actually, one of the actresses is from Boston. But yeah, anyways, sorry to interrupt you again. Our nuncle's here finally.
Yes.
Finally.
I love him. I am delivered. Yes.
I am delivered. Look who finally decided to show up.
But Mandy, I was gonna say, is this the wrong time to ask? Would you tell the prayer partner story, or is that a little too much right now? Please, it's my favorite story.
I need to know.
Okay. You gotta tell us.
It's
I
okay
gotta
if
hear
the answer is
before I
no.
go.
Okay.
It's okay.
Chloe, I'm going to make this really fast because I know you have to go. But
I gotta hear
so
it.
we nicknamed my mother the Angel of Death because she had gotten involved in a prayer partner program in the church. And
Oh no.
every
no.
single one of her prayer partners died
No.
within 2 months of becoming her prayer partner. Okay. And
Is it like a pen pal or something, but with prayers?
Prayers. Yeah.
Apparently, it's about dying.
And this is the reason why every time my mother would say, I'll pray for you, I'd say, oh, please, no, thank you.
Oh my god.
Please tell them how many prayer partners she went through.
Please say it.
She lost 6 prayer partners in a row.
That's a
They
year.
all died.
That's
I
a
don't know
lot.
how-
That's a
a
lot.
whole year.
I don't know how the FBI was not on our doorstep wondering why all of these people kept dying around my mother. But she,
Scary.
I feel like she's dead now, so she can't yell at me for this, but I feel like she had a part in killing these people. Even if she didn't physically do anything, her prayers were enough.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Prayers were straight to the reject
Oh
bin.
my god.
Man,
Maybe
you gotta
she's like
know.
Kelvin, right? And
Have you
secretly is the
ever
devil, or
read or watched White Oleander? Because there's a character in White Oleander that accidentally but on purpose brings people to their death in that kind of similar manner. And I'm worried. I'm very
I've heard
worried.
about it, but I haven't.
It's on your list
experienced
now.
it,
It's
no.
gotta.
Okay,
It's
I
gotta.
will.
I'm worried. Is that your mom?
I'm so glad you told that story because it's my favorite Mandy story.
I know, because I nonchalantly dropped it to her one time, and she's like, "Wait, what?"
I'm sorry.
I was like, I never
You
told
didn't
you that
notice
story.
the pattern?
6 in a row, all almost 2 months at the
6 in a
most.
row.
That's a year of death.
Yeah.
By
You
prayer.
have 2 moons before you die.
There are 2 moons inside
2
you. Both
turnings.
of them were
Yeah.
You'd
2
think
phases.
after the 3rd one, you'd be like, no, I'm good. Actually,
I need a
really-
break from the death.
I believe
No.
there's a verse in Luke, I believe it is, where it says, sometimes take your eccentric praise and worship into the closet privately. I'm gonna do that privately.
I'm
gonna pray alone.
dude, what? I'm just like, I just feel like after like the second one, I'm like, okay, this is.
I would
This
just
is
need a
weird.
break, like
The
for
third, I'm like,
myself.
okay.
And then after
Fool
the
me
4th
once.
one, you have to think this has to be more than just a random pattern of the universe. And yeah.
Yeah.
And then
After
finally-
the 3rd one.
Finally, after the 6th one, they just told her that they didn't have anyone for her to partner with, and so they would just let her know.
Wait, she
6
tried.
almost an unholy number,
I'm sorry, she was trying after that.
They should
I
have
guess
at
6
least
was the
given her
church's limit,
7.
Well, now we know how powerful you are and that we best not ever fuck with you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's what you come from. That's the kind of witch you are. Wow. Wow.
Damn.
I will never disrespect you. I want you to know that. You are a real motherfucker. I get it.
You should open a mega church.
You could be misbehaving.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'll bring the pickles.
Oh, running through your house with
Yeah.
a pickle in your mouth.
Nim's behaving.
Nim's
Ooh.
behaving. Oh no!
I'm really bad at
Oh,
lyrics.
no.
It's stuck in everyone's head now, though. That's your curse.
It's
now.
over. It's over.
Was it
Speaking
Aziz
of
that said he randomly sings that song all the time throughout the house?
Probably.
I believe he
It's a-
tweeted
I
about
sing
it
it all
a
the
couple weeks
time.
ago.
Yeah,
I sing
we
it.
do.
Yeah.
In this household. Yeah.
There's a lot of gemstones isms that have become just like hashtag Eli Gems home, you know, like everyday normal shit we say.
It's like Gemstone, but Gem's home. Gem's
My
home.
daddy wouldn't have
Gems
want you out
homes.
there making
Hashtag.
hashtags.
Eli.
Right.
Gems home. Not Gems homes.
She really went for it because she went for that Kentucky accent. Like, we are a powerful congregation. It's me
Yeah,
every time.
I'm scared. Amber might be a
Congregation.
force to reckon with next time.
Amber.
For
I think
season
Punch
three.
is-
She, I
Punches
love
is looking
Amber.
forward.
I love Amber, but I really
blonde
think we're
hair.
going to take a deep dive into her background next season.
Yeah,
I hope so. I hope
want
so.
it. I want it bad. I love her from Vampire Diaries, first of all. So that's
Wait,
where I
what?
know her
Who's
from.
she in Vampire Diaries?
Sage, the vampire. She plays a vampire.
That's right. Did you ever watch Smallville? Because she
Yup.
played Tessa Mercer, and she was She was a good villain or anti-villain.
She's a
or
hottie.
anti.
She's a real hottie.
She's hottie.
I love her. She's mommy.
She
you know?
actually
I'm like,
has
okay.
good, believable chemistry with Danny McBride.
Yeah, and it has to
believe
be
it.
believable when it comes to fucking Jesse Gemstone.
Honestly, I just thought of the scene of them in the bus, the party bus. That
Oh yeah.
I cannot think of the song with that.
That's such like mom dad shit.
That's honestly, it reminded me of me and my husband because that's some shit we would do. That's literally
Like,
that's
all right,
when we
whatever.
were watching that scene before they even showed them when they just had the music playing. We both started dancing, and then they popped up. I was like, "Oh, this is us, firstborns." But
Firstborns. Only borns.
The Borns.
Absolutely.
We're just Borns. We're all
Once
Borns.
and once again.
All of us, Borns.
We're just Borns. But speaking of being Borns, it's been a while. We've been hanging out for like 2 hours now, so I guess it's time we bid everybody adieu.
I guess we got to find a new reason to talk again sometime soon, ladies.
Yes.
Praise be.
Well, if you
Praise
pick
be
up
she.
Ozark, we could always.
Oh no. Oh
I'm
no.
down for an Ozark one.
Yes.
I could watch 4 seasons
They're
in a
pushing
day or
hard.
two.
I could find some time.
I finished Bridgerton in a day and a half. I could do that.
I mean, really, whatever it is y'all watch that I've watched too, I could talk about with you guys.
Does
for
anybody
hours.
watch?
I'm in.
Anybody watch Uhtred? Last Kingdom.
No, not yet.
Uhtred,
no.
penis
I watched
curse.
season 1, but I didn't continue yet. I need to.
Uhtred
I
doesn't-
got really bored and shut it off.
Oh, I know we talked about that. I know we
I
talked
know,
about
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm
Oh,
gonna
we
try
got a
again.
super chat from
Oh,
Josh.
we did.
Aw.
Thank you,
Josh.
Josh. OG
so
triple
sweet.
OG.
Oh,
Josh,
Josh, thank
so
you.
much.
You.
Thank you.
for all for the stream, sending positive vibes everyone's way. Thank you so much. Definitely could use some positive vibes. It's been a very, very interesting week over here.
You know what? We're going to speak good words into a good week after this because I found
Yes.
every time if my day or week starts shitty and I speak words into it.
Oh,
Speak words into a good one.
are we gonna leave on Alicia's positive, like Pastor Alicia?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Praise be
Deaconess
to she.
Alicia. Praise be to she.
she.
Alicia's gonna say some kind words to the congregation.
Alicia's like,
I
I did not
was just
sign up
going
for
to
this.
say, yeah, no, it's all about positive vibes, you guys. No, just on Thursday. Was it Thursday? Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was Thursday.
Speaking of that, just speaking words into a good day. My car was in the shop and I live in Minneapolis. It was all the way over in St. Paul, which is our twin city. So I took a $30 lift to go pick up my car in St. Paul. The internet said the shop was open at 7:30 in the morning. No one was at the shop. So I had to pay another $40 to go back to my job during rush hour. So I paid $70 altogether to not get my car. And I remember tweeting like, I'm just going to speak words into this still being a good day, even though I just wasted $70 anyway. They ended up comping me that $70 on my car bill. They physically brought the car to me at my job. And then they also decided to comp the original tow fee to get the car to the shop. So, you know, it's all about positive vibes.
Good shit happens. Good shit could happen.
That's amazing.
Edric said to
in the most of high heart voice. Jesus.
Do it.
No. Okay.
Do it. That was my Palpatine voice.
Hold on. It's been so long. Yeah, sometimes it's just I can't do it. Positive vibes, you guys. Praise me. I can't do it. It's been so long. I'm sorry.
I love it.
I can't do it right now.
Oh, so
Amazing. Amazing.
I'm thinking now. I'm thinking.
It was so good. It was so good. So yeah, with that being said, you know, positive vibes.
Oh wow.
Positive...
Thank you, Josh.
Oh, it's the same one. Sorry, I just but thank you again, everybody, for joining. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Josh. You're awesome. And again, sending positive vibes everyone's way. You know, I hope everyone has a great upcoming week and weeks to come. I know people have been asking. Preposterous AF will be resuming soon. Do not worry. Mm-hmm. We will be back. It's just life has to life sometimes. And yeah. I was like,
it's life and pretty fucking hard.
Oh, yeah. Life is life. But
yes. We will be back with
Sam and his Dark Materials. So if you haven't read any of his Dark Material books like myself and you just want to hear Chloe and Eliana because you just like to hear Chloe and Eliana, you can be like me. And have the book ruined for you that you never read.
I'm sorry. I
love it.
Read his Dark Materials and come hang with us. We're chatting about the show, chatting about the books. They're great. They're some of Eliana's favorites. She got me into it, and they cover a lot of religion stuff and don't cover a lot of religion stuff in that same exact tone.
Yeah, very anti-religion stuff. Very different tone.
Palette cleanse, right? You know, if you want to go real different here from Gemstones, that's great. We are covering ASWAF. We do POV by POV, right? So we do one character at a time, all their chapters. We're working on Sam right now, but we're almost at the end. We have a really good friend coming on in a couple of weeks to join us as a guest. No spoilers. Might be our friend Zach from Game of Owns, though. No spoilers, though. But hey, if you listen, you'll know, right? If you listen into Ara's channel, you'll know. You'll know.
He does have the best podcasting voice I've ever heard in my entire life. I think Game of Owns is like the second Song of Ice and Fire podcast I ever listened to, and I was always like, I like Zach's voice.
They're fun.
He's
got good energy.
No, I'll see him next week actually, but he's real laid back. He's a good dude.
I just remembered you guys are on a Feast for Crows, and there's a little something down the pipe.
Oh, something's coming in a pipe. Wait, something's coming inside. Are you talking about a fat pink? Are we not?
I was gonna say, going to turn into a section.
The fat pink mask.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good episode. That's actually, is that the episode Zach's coming out? Anyways,
I don't remember.
I think so. 3 or 4.
I'm patiently waiting for it.
I'm excited because you know what? We actually really want to dispel a lot, I think, that chapter, because, you know, a lot of, I think it used to be kind of like a really funny thing to make fun of, but now I'm kind of like, it's actually one of the best chapters. Good for Sam. Yeah. You know, like life, grief, loss, fucking. That's all we are, us humans. We're a mess of fucking and grief and loss.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and we learned that we learned that from the Righteous Gemstones too.
Yes, we did.
Look at that. Praise be.
Praise be.
Joy in there.
So yeah, come hang out with us with all of our grief and loss and fucking.
It's a great time. But it's been a great time. Thank you guys all again for joining us. Thank you, ladies, for coming on.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you for having us.
I mean,
thanks, Sarah.
I was talking about like Eliana and Chloe, Alicia, and Nimi are like obligated to hang out with me.
Fine.
Oh
wow!
You guys don't have a choice. You have to be my friends.
Contractually obligated.
Mhm,
You're
mhm. Very
contractually
hard.
obligated
Together.
to be friends with me.
Yeah.
Well, it's a privilege. It's been a privilege and an
Yeah.
honor. So thank you very much, ladies.
It's good to
Always happy
stream
to
with
come
you
on.
guys again. It's
Yeah.
And we'll be
Yeah.
back for what? Degrassi? Is that happening yet?
Oh,
We're gonna
yeah.
do a Degrassi.
Oh, we're doing that. Chloe and I have
Okay.
been workshopping this Degrassi thing. It's happening.
Interesting.
Can
Call me,
I just
beat me if
show
you
up
wanna
and
reach
ask
me.
questions?
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
no
actually,
actual
that'd
plan
be
of
great.
watching it.
Open invitation.
Yeah.
Open
Yeah.
invitation.
Whatever it takes, you know.
I know that you'll
You know,
make
you
it
can
through.
You know, I've been toying with the idea of I've been toying with the idea of starting yet another podcast where I talk about things that I have no idea what I'm talking about, because I feel like people will be able to relate to that.
But
You
bring
know?
someone to tell you. That's so smart. Oh, you're good.
Yeah,
smart.
I try.
Well,
I'm
thank
kidding.
you, Ara, so much for
Well,
having us.
Thanks
Yes.
again. And it's been a real treat. And happy Sunday. Praise be. And here's the Gemstone season 3. Ooh, 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 and
Now
I'm
go
gonna
in
sing-
peace, my children.
Yes. Yes. Praise be.